Your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
It is Thursday, the 19th of September, 2024. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. This is news to 6 a.m. on News Power Digital. The National Trinidad and Tobago budget will be presented on Monday, 30th September in the House of Representatives. Finance Minister Colin Immer made the disclosure on Wednesday in last year's budget. The expenditure projected was $57.685 billion. Education and training got the largest allocation at $7.453 billion, followed by health, $6.829 billion, national security, $5.79 billion, social services, $5.545 billion, and works in transport, $3.748 billion. Government indicated total revenue last fiscal was projected to be $56.17 billion. Teachers at St. George's College and their representing union tutor staged a lunchtime protest to show their dissatisfaction with Education Minister Dr. Nian Gatsby-Dolly, whom they accused of coming after them with a big stick instead of seeking to address concerns at the school. Moments before the planned lunchtime protest at the Barataria School, the Education Ministry issued a strongly worded media statement inferring internal sabotage was preventing the school from its vision of success. It said that an investigation had been launched into the disappearance of 80 fans donated to the school. As such, the ministry said the school will be more closely monitored by a school supervisor. The protest had no chanting nor marching. Instead, wreathed in red, teachers quietly vacated the school en masse to have their lunches outside the compound. Opposition leader Kamala Prasad-Bissessar yesterday expressed sympathy with Health Minister Terence Deyalsingh, who was robbed at gunpoint on Tuesday in St. Joseph. However, UNC Deputy Political Leader Dr. Rudan Monilal criticized the minister and suggested negligence contributed to the unfortunate incident. Prasad-Bissessar said she empathized with all victims of crime, regardless of political affiliation, including Minister Deyalsingh. Nonetheless, she was skeptical that crime reaching government's doorstep would prompt any meaningful changes and pointed out that 4,500 murders, including the brutal killings of children, daily violent home invasions, rapes, extortions, out-of-control violent crime have not prompted a competent, multifaceted anti-crime approach from this government. Meanwhile, the Health Ministry says the Facebook page PNM St. Joseph, purported to represent Minister Terence Deyalsingh, shares information related to the Health Ministry, does not have any legitimate affiliation with the Ministry of Health nor his office. It's encouraging members of the public to avoid engaging with or sharing information from this fraudulent page. Steps have been taken to report the page. It's urging individuals behind same to cease and desist from their actions immediately. The public is advised any post on this fake profile is to be ignored and is calculated to cause political mischief. Deputy Commissioner of Police Intelligence and Investigation, Suzette Martin, says the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service strongly condemned the armed robbery of Minister of Health Terence Deyalsingh. Reports indicate Minister Deyalsingh was sitting on a bench outside a bar on King Street, St. Joseph at 4:55 p.m. on Tuesday when he was approached by two men, one armed with a firearm. The gunman allegedly pointed the firearm at the victim's head and robbed him of a gold-colored bracelet. Meanwhile, reports indicate two suspects have now been held in connection with the robbery involving the health minister. According to police officers of the Interagency Task Force, who went to St. Paul Street where they saw a blue Hyundai Elantra, which was believed to be in the robbery. They intercepted the vehicle and two male suspects were apprehended. They were taken to the St. Joseph police station for processing. In news of the region, Jamaica, the net worth of Prime Minister Andrew Holness grew by $51.5 million over 5 years, ending December 31st, 2021. Information is contained in an investigation report to the Prime Minister's 2021 statutory declarations, which remain uncertified. The Commission said its calculation included the conversion of income and net worth from US to Jamaican dollars. Prime Minister Holness responded to the development while speaking with the media this week, rejecting the latest findings, adding he's seen an error in certain calculations used by the Commission. And Antigua's Parliament's lower house has passed legislation which will impose a 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew on minors. It's contained in the Small Charges Amendment Bill 2024. Prime Minister Gaston Brown noted the importance of promoting and instilling discipline, particularly among young people. The bill is aimed at protecting the nation's youth and holding their parents and guardians accountable. Minister Brown said the move is critical in reducing acts of lawlessness among men and women. And Boeing is suspending the jobs of tens of thousands of staff in the U.S. in response to a strike, which has shut down production of some of its aircraft. The aerospace giant said U.S.-based executives, managers, and staff will be asked to take 1 week of furlough every 4 weeks as long as the standoff continues. More than 30,000 factory workers in the northwest of the U.S. went on strike on Friday over pay and retirement packages at Boeing. And that is news to 6 a.m. right here on News Power Digital. We'll have major news coming your way at 7 a.m. Good morning.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
Morning, neighbors. It's the 19th. It's 9/19/24. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on the Power Breakfast Show on Power 102 Digital. It's all about the R's this morning. We just heard from Dr. Paul Richards with our news brief. We'll hear from Richard Ragoobarsingh. We got Ruben, and then we got the S's. We got Shane and myself, Steve Khan. Yeah, we'll keep you company. All right. So good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Good morning to you, Paul. What's happening?
Good morning, Steve. Good morning, everyone.
Yeah, morning, my friend. It is 25 degrees at Piarco International Airport, 24 in the beautiful sister isle of Tobago. Of course, the Met Office has not updated their weather forecast for today, so we'll wait and see. All right. Traffic-wise, we got some traffic, yeah. Couva to Sugargornis, you've got some traffic. And let's see. And heading from Charlieville towards interchange and getting into Port of Spain on volume, Trinity, same thing. All right. No accidents to tell you about this morning, so which is good. Good news on that. All right. And good morning to all those who send us hellos first thing this morning. Yep, you know who you are. The regulars, good morning to you all. We appreciate it. I read all already this morning, like from Captain Ron and Dan Raj. Good morning to you all. All right. Okay. And all those abroad as well. Yeah, Pablo.
Well, there was quite a large turnout for cricket at the Oval last night.
Yeah, I went to bed when Puran was out. So I woke up this morning and I completely forgot about it. There's only someone said here that TKR won last night. Wendy and James. I don't know what was the final score, but you can message me.
And the record also scored big last night, apparently around the Queen's Park Savannah.
Yeah.
Around King George V Park.
Boy, I got
5 workers apparently wrecking people in the street and wrecking people inside the park.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really? Really? Where you want them park? Where?
Exactly.
Where do you want them to park with a large event like that? Where? I mean, they really don't understand. They seem to want to understand. I understand if people are parked indiscriminately, but people park on the normal side of the road.
Yeah.
For a big cricket event, where do you want them to park?
Planning
and
again.
Far and subject themselves to potential robbery? Where?
Yeah. I don't know. That's why I don't go to these
Somebody
events.
decided last night they're going to send out 5 records.
Mm-hmm.
Make some money. So I guess it's month 10 coming. So
month 10 coming. So
I mean, really.
I don't know. Let's see. Oh, PP sent me the results here. TKR won by 5 wickets. 4 balls left. Holy cow. Wow. We were Guyana made 148 for 7 in their 20. And 148, for 7. And then, TKR won 149 for 5 with 4 balls remaining. Oh, my goodness. Wow. I think they head down to San Fernando tonight. If subject to correction on that. Brian Lara Cricket Academy. Did you all, did you know, Wendell was supposed to pick me up. I said so yesterday morning to go to cricket. I felt like a penguin. I was all dressed and he never showed up. Never showed up. But you know what he did? He got his book by Brian Lara, autographed, his autographed book. And Brian Lara wrote, to Wendell Stephen, the man who outbat me one night in St. James. Brian Lara. Congratulations. There you go, Wendell. I'm still dressed. I didn't change or anything. I'm still dressed to go cricket.
No comment.
But I cannot go cricket and park anywhere and enjoy myself and not knowing what's going on with my vehicle outside. And again, it's planning. And I'm sure they had people say, "Here, come park here, $20, $20, $50." And when they come back, they're gone.
I understand parking, wrecking people parked in front of people's gates and all of that.
And fire hydrants.
Some of the wrecking I saw was just inside King George V, where where parking has been allowed on numerous occasions.
For carnival fetes.
So I do understand wrecking cars inside the King George V Park. I understand wrecking cars that are parked indiscriminately in front of people's gates and too close to corners, posing a hazard. But I do understand just wrecking, seemingly for wrecking's sake, which is what some of the videos I saw. Somebody decided they're going to make some money last night.
Bring out the wreckers. I don't know. Yes, I don't know what to say.
John Cato is saying no, it's at the Oval tonight.
It's at the Oval tonight?
You're only me in cricket.
Wendell, should I leave these same clues on for you to pick me up? And what time? Wendell? I'll wait his response.
So in other news, apparently there was a circulating online supposed conversation where Larry Lala would have made a little missive to what a page purported to be that representing Minister of Health Terence Dale-Singh, which was later denounced by the Minister and the Ministry of Health, saying it was not a legitimate page, where the Minister on that illegitimate page, responded and said, "I'm not the Minister of Health. I don't need your sympathy. I'm not the Minister of National Security. I'm the Minister of Health," which turned out to be an illegitimate page. And the ministry put out a release saying it's not a bona fide page representing Minister Dale-Singh and it should be ignored. Larry Lala, subsequent to that, apologized and said he thought it was a legitimate page, so he withdrew the commentary. But a lot of what is being bandied about is what we discussed yesterday in terms of the issue of crime. And while we expressed sympathy at Minister Dale-Singh's situation, so too the leader of the opposition, and said that, well, this is what citizens going through every day. That's the sentiment, and that she doesn't think that it will prompt any difference in as our question suggested yesterday, in the approach by the TTPS and or the state in terms of arresting the crime situation, which is out of hand in this country. Never a dull moment.
It's I don't know what to say. And then there were more home invasions.
And then people got a little more peeved when they heard that two suspects were held in connection with the robbery of Minister Dale-Singh. And the suggestion was, well, look how fast they hold them too. Because the minister got robbed.
That.
What happened to we? All that was rolling around.
Yep, I heard that. I heard that, yes. Actually, somebody, I didn't read it. Somebody came into the pet butler and we were chatting and they said so. That, the holy fellas are ready.
Well, the holy fellas are ready.
Yeah, it was me and you. We had to wait, And then
in less than 24 hours, two suspects were held.
And then when Colin Burton and his son lost his phone, they
Yeah,
find it one time.
all that came back up. All that.
Yeah. The person was quite upset.
Well,
So basically, it was so. What about me? I'm saying it. Good.
so what about the ordinary citizen?
Yeah,
And that was his sentiment, you know?
that was his sentiment.
As if
I
as
mean,
an
I'm
ordinary
happy that the
citizen-
TDPS was able to apprehend 2 individuals for questioning. Kudos to you all. But it needs to go right across the board.
Well, one would hope so, eh?
Yeah.
Because the military citizens are held up at gunpoint almost every day.
Yeah.
A lot of it is just not reported. A lot of it.
A lot of people being robbed in Port of Spain.
I mean, sometimes I get the police daily report on crime, which they put out, which the divisions compile and send to the commissioner to update on the scenario in the last 24 hours. And most of it that I see in that, when I do get sight of it, does not end up in the news media.
Yeah. Look, a gentleman went to an ATM and was robbed by a couple. And again, coming back to Facebook Marketplace. Somebody wanted something with a PS5 for $3,200 or something like that. Went up to some street in Laventille, got robbed and beaten.
But if people still getting robbed like that,
all you do learn.
they're just daft. Okay? You've been warned over and over. You've heard enough reports about people on Facebook Marketplace luring people to rob them. Tell them, meet me in the police station.
That's all.
You want to sell me? Tell me, meet me in the police station.
That's all. And the police have said so.
Meet me in the police station and we'll do the transaction in the police station. Yeah, I'll be walking. Tell the officers this is a Facebook Marketplace transaction. I just wanted to make sure I'm safe. To do the cast eye outside.
And the police have said that. You know?
Meet in the police station.
You're selling a car, same thing.
Meet in the police station, walk in, say, officers, I've just come to transact business. This is somebody I met on Facebook and they're saying X, Y, and Z. And I just want to make sure I'm safe. That's all.
That's all. You go in 5 minutes before to talk to them, so.
That's all. Make sure you're safe. Budget day is Monday, September 30th. We've been saying that.
You called it, Paul.
It's not me really called it. It's Jaron called it.
You called it.
It's not me really called it. Jaron called it. So Monday, the 30th of September will be budget day 2024-25. We'll see what bag of goodies Minister Imbe is bringing. He did say it's an election budget, but we all know that, which has certain implications. We already know that he had to revise the projected deficit from fiscal 23-24 budget. I think it increased by just over $3 billion, the deficit, because of unrealized revenue due to lower energy commodity prices and lower production levels in Trinidad and Tobago. So I don't think that much has changed regarding that. So last fiscal, the original projected revenue was $56.175 billion. I'm presuming that will go down to just under $50 billion this time. And the projected expenditure was $57.685 billion. So it'll be interesting to see if we kept our expenditure levels as to what was projected. Last budget, education, training got the largest part of the pie, $7.453 billion. Health, $6.892 billion. National security, $5.798 billion. Social grants, social and social services, $5.453 billion. And works and transport, $3.748 billion. So we see how much that changes. Generally, the largest allocations have gone to education and or national security. But I guess health moved up post the pandemic because a lot was still happening post pandemic.
That's true. That is true.
Health wise.
Yeah.
So Kadeem, you're absolutely right. Port of Spain City Corporation should have been more proactive, knowing the game was coming to Port of Spain, and created parking spaces for 2 games at the Queen's Park Oval. Are you absolutely right? Instead of waiting for the park and then run out with 5 records to just wreck people.
Yeah.
I do
Tonight
understand.
is at the Oval again, so we'll see what happens. I mean, the
You should
Carnival
be happy
Cups
people coming into Port of Spain, quite frankly.
exactly. People park in Nelson Mandela Park for carnival fetes.
For all kind of stuff.
And
if you didn't want parking in Mandela Park, you should have put out a release saying, we know there's a match on tonight. There'll be no parking allowed at Mandela Park.
Mm-hmm.
But you have all right to say, but you should have said something.
Yeah.
Come on.
And if you're allowing people to park, put up lights, make sure there's security, and go from there. But you need to communicate.
Really?
It can't stay within 4 walls.
Let's say good morning to Hill Bench in Dublin, Ireland.
Hill Bench, what's going on?
Ireland.
Hill Bench.
Sorry, Richard R. in Dublin, Ireland, and everybody in Trinidad and Tobago, and Anne Noel in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Locked on.
We have some people on WhatsApp as well from Anthony from Toronto is locked on. Good morning to Anthony.
Oh, see, you're right. Put systems in place and charge $10 on Mandela Park and make some money.
That's all. You charge $30. I would pay the $30 a park doing my cousin.
$20. They would pay it. And put up some lights and put some security guards.
That's all. You're not reinventing the wheel.
Let me tell you something.
But they make things so difficult. Where you want them to park? By Roxy?
Where are they going to park?
In St. James?
They have to park either in the street or in some designated area. Where you want them to park? You want to park down St. James and walk all over and put yourself at risk, given the crime situation? Really? Yeah. Long watery stoops. Long watery stoops. Stoops.
Like that?
Interesting development. It could be the subject of our question today. The Antigua and Barbuda Parliament, lower house, passed a new law which will impose a 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew on minors.
Wait, you have to repeat that again.
The Antigua and Barbuda Parliament passed a law which will impose a 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew on minors. So minors cannot be outside between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. without the presence of a parent or guardian. It's contained in the Small Charges Amendment Bill 2024. Prime Minister Gaston Brown said the importance of promoting and instilling discipline, particularly among young delinquent people. It's aimed at protecting the nation's youth and holding their parents and guardians accountable. Interesting. Quite interesting. You think that'll work in Trinidad and Tobago?
It should.
Well, quite frankly, minors shouldn't be out that ordinary by themselves anyway. They can only get up to no good. Okay? A 14, 15-year-old out 10 o'clock in the night, there's cause for concern. They should be getting ready for school the next day.
Yeah, they should.
So they're taking some steps more recently because of the number of teenagers that have been found to be involved in hardcore criminal activity in Trinidad and Tobago. The police service here indicated that they will be using existing laws like the Children's Act and other laws to hold parents more accountable for children who end up in criminal activity. I think it's a very good idea, quite frankly. You know? And if a 14 and 12-year-old out in the night after 10, what you doing out?
What you're doing out at 10 o'clock in the night, 9 o'clock in the night.
When it's mandatory that you be in school, are you really getting ready for school if you're out in the night roaming the streets?
Yeah.
No, I have no problem with a law like that. The only way it could be out after 10 is in the company of a parent or guardian. And if they're out, the parents will be held legally accountable. Maybe we could ask that question this morning.
Yeah.
Rena is saying there's a story behind the Mandela Park issue. They illegally broke the barrier and allowed and charged people to park and went away.
And that's why you have the security officers.
That's why the city corporation should have put systems in place themselves. One, to man the park, and two, to ensure that that didn't happen. Because you know there's a big match in the Oval, you know people will be looking for parking, and you be proactive. You understand? Yeah, we'll ask that question. I like that law, actually.
Yeah. Go with that.
You know? Because we're seeing young persons involved in crime younger and younger.
Yeah, boy.
Recently, the TT Police Service, what's his name? I forget the DCP's name, indicated that people as young as 8 years old are involved in crime and extortion and stuff like that. Good morning, Monsieur.
Hi, good morning, guys.
Morning, Rich.
Yeah. Good morning to our listeners and viewers.
Did Wendell set you up
peachy and
well
fresh
last
this
night?
morning?
What?
Did Wendell
You
set you
looking
up as usual last
peachy
night?
and fresh.
Who's that?
That's
Me?
like, oh, Peachy and Fresh. Wendell set me up in what way?
Supposed to pass and pick you up to go cricket and never showed up?
What? No. I was never
Okay,
in a
can you take
rage.
on, Steve? You like to drag everybody in the confusion.
I was never in a rage, man.
Oh, okay.
I see they were wrecking people in the...
What are we talking about?
That's what we're talking about. That's borderline malicious.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's like, yeah. Which is what I always call an anti-citizen maneuver, rather than have signage that says you can't park here, because I assume people park there all the time.
Said that.
In King George V Park, because that's what it looked like. It was King George V. So rather than prevent people from parking there, you prevent people from leaving and have a, well, at least that's what the video looks like, at least according to what the man in the video was saying. And you engage the wrecker to wreck all those cars. It just reeks of...
It just reeks. Leave it like that. It just
It's
reeks.
just, as we were saying earlier, Richard, I mean,
It reeks
you know
of
there's a big match in
anti-citizen
policy.
behavior, and this is what I have a problem with when I say about anti-citizen behavior from
Correct.
state agencies.
Correct.
You know, it's just, you know there's a big match in Port of Spain. You know thousands of people are going to the Oval. You know there's limited parking, even on the street, because they were wrecking people on the street too.
Yeah.
Where
It's
you
like,
want people to park.
Let's go out and see how much money we can make
They
tonight.
send 5 wreckers out, apparently. That's what the reports say. And let's go and see how much money we can make. And I have no problem wrecking people who are parked too close to corners and parked in front of people's gates and stuff like that
Yeah,
indiscriminately.
people park in front of people's gates and stuff should be
No
removed.
problem.
Yeah.
Remove them. But people who park in Mandela Park,
Yeah, sorry, Mandela Park is in King George V.
come on. Really? Where you want them park?
But people parking there all the time, not so.
So unless you have a new policy where you don't want it, make a statement.
Give people the information.
So, but they ain't say nothing, and then you're saying the records.
Yeah.
Come on. Really?
People come out last night and yeah, well, they had a feeling.
And the car gone, and they have to walk looking for the car.
Yeah.
And think of if a female went parked and came out and no car and had to walk by herself.
You'll say not me and a cricket match again. And well,
And that's what they don't understand.
Unless
What
you're a
you're
red
doing,
aficionado.
really? Or as we said earlier, you as the city corporation say, I am offering parking in King George V Park. Pay $20. I put up lights and have security, and I manage it as the city corporation. Come on. Really? Really?
I remember Port of Spain being a big opponent of how they handle those things. Who we haven't heard from in a while, come to think of it. Port of Spain. But yeah, I remember him being a big proponent of that. So, you know.
It's just
be
non-people
will
friendly
continue.
activity, not non-friendly activity, not understanding the culture of the place, not understanding the how people operate in the space, and I'm like, it's my space, so I can do what I want.
Yeah, they're patting their backs this morning. We
Really?
accomplished something. We have made life difficult, and we have gotten some money in the coffers.
Is it that there was a situation where there was a shuttle service and you could park somewhere else? I heard nothing like that. You understand? You have to make preparation for these things. Thousands of cars are going to converge on the city for people to attend the cricket match, and there's where they go park. There's only so much park, and people will be reluctant to park far because walking to your car from a far distance may put you at risk for crime.
And you may think that Nelson Mandela Park, I keep wanting to say King George V, you may be thinking that Nelson Mandela Park is, a safe place to park your car. Because that's a big, where you park your car is a big issue for people, right? It's huge issue.
Richard,
I'm telling you, for me, Paul, if I go to a place and I'm going to an event and I cannot find a park that's acceptable to me,
I'm going back home.
I'm not going to the event, I'm going somewhere else.
Yeah, I will turn around and go back home. Yeah.
I will tell especially if I go with the crew, I'll drop all off, but I go in elsewhere and I'll come back and meet all of
Yeah.
And they say, why are you doing
that?
Because
in the venue and worried about your car being there when you go back.
I'm going to be uncomfortable in the event.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be uncomfortable. I'm going to be like, I studied my car park. No, I'm not going to do that.
Well, I have a tracker, but I still have, if you're still looking at your phone all the time to make sure you understand.
Yeah, that it's still there, that the
location it's
is
still in something in the back of your mind, so you really can't have
so it doesn't give you never really relinquish that.
Yeah, you never really relax totally.
Yeah, so I'm not going through that. So if I pass several times, I say, I don't get a park, I say, that's it, I'm going somewhere else.
And it was a very, very well attended match last night. So when you think about it, where people will park, that is safe to park and to move from the car to the Oval. You understand? And as I said, if I didn't see some videos of them parking, we just parked to the side of the road. And in Mandela Park, I would say, okay, well, they were wrecking people who parked in this community. But I saw some just side of the road. No corner, no hydrant. You understand? I saw the wrecker one of the wreckers inside Mandela Park going for a car. As a matter of fact, I download the video. Let me see if I could.
Yeah. Well, the narrator in the video was saying that that blocked the entrance. So of course we don't know how accurate the narrator is of the events that the event or events that were taking place with regard to the wrecking of cars. But he was saying that a police car was blocking the entrance, and exit. Well, entrance / exit, I guess. I assume it was one. And they were just wrecking the cars. That's the impression you get. So if that's accurate, so maybe I should preface it by saying that if all of that.
The one I'm going to show doesn't seem to be blocking an entrance.
Yeah. But I'm just going on what the narrator of the video was saying.
Yeah.
The person was actually filming it. So, but
and to me,
Wendell is saying that a damn thing, quote unquote, will change for the match tonight.
Yeah.
Think be people centric now, Think of how you can enhance the experience for patrons. You understand?
Yeah, not make it harder.
Think of how you can enhance it. I'm sure apply the law if people are parked close to corners, in front of hydrants, in front of gates. I fully
agree. If you don't give people the information, people will park where they are accustomed to. And not only that, if there were foreigners here for the match,
they might know
from other islands, they will just follow what the residents
everybody else doing. Yeah,
that's what you would do if you're in another city. You would follow what the people here do. So they'll say, well, okay, parking is allowed there or parking is allowed here. You're not going to expect that it's going to be a big exercise.
Just make it harder for citizens. That's all.
Well, it's not people centric.
Are you going to? Are you showing the videos of mine?
Yeah, just download it. So I want to take out the audio because I don't know what the person is saying through the whole thing. So
Yeah, safe and sorry.
So look the bends there, right? Let me see if they go with the bends. What the bends?
right, so
All right, there's a tow truck. Watch it. Going through Nelson Mandela Park. Oh, which car should we take? Let's take the green one. Let's take the blue one.
now look at the car they're taking. Huh? This car doesn't seem to be parked in front of any entrance.
No,
I didn't see this video. I didn't see this particular one.
I didn't see this one either. You just go in and choose
that car parked in front of an entrance.
Yeah, choose a car and go. And were there police officers in that wrecker?
I don't know. It wasn't parked in front of an entrance that I could see.
No, just pick a car.
Just pick a car. So I mean, no rhyme or reason. I mean, how citizen centric is that?
No, he left the Benz.
It'll be interesting to know how many cars they wrecked. Let's open the phone line.
Yeah, our lines are open. From yesterday, I guess the 222-8255 number is working. Of course, North Americans toll free 866-525-1099. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. I'm just looking at the video there, and I'm wondering, there's a vessel, there's a Benz, there's all kind of high-end car, but you're going to the theater.
That was what the narrator of the video was saying. He was saying they pass all the high-end cars because if you damage the high-end car, you got to pay for it.
Anyway, there's a video circulated on social media with this Caucasian-looking man. What are you sure, Guardian? Complaining about an experience he had in a licensing office. I don't know if you all saw it.
Yeah, I saw that one. Somebody tagged me in it, actually. Somebody did tag me in it about his experience with the 3-month-old utility bill.
With the 3 months and 1 day old utility bill.
Yeah, 3 months and 1 day.
The official at licensing office could not accept for any reason because it's 1 day older than 3 months. And I've had experiences like that in the bank. With,
is it a legal thing, Richard? Is it a legal requirement that it be specifically 3 months?
Well, they say the licensing office.
That's policy at the licensing office.
The licensing office.
I don't think the policy is not law. They're breaking the law. They give the man a life for a day.
I don't think it's a law. It's just a policy of the licensing office because they want to make sure, in terms of licensing transactions, that you live where you say you live.
Yes, current.
So they just want proof. So even if it's 4 months old, what? All of a sudden your WASA utility bill will change?
Correct.
If your WASA utility bill says this is your address and it's 4 months old, what? All of a sudden it would have changed 4 months later?
Well, what is vexing about the situation is that from what he said, he had several other documents that verified he did live at this address.
Yeah.
Including a property tax document. And it comes back to what you all said. It seems like some organization, I don't want to blame the government, but they're just doing things to make things difficult in this country. To make processes harder to do and to give people a more challenging time to do stuff. That's just how it appears to be. You know? So I just thought I'd bring that up and mention that this morning. Good morning, gentlemen. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you. All my lines are lit up. Good morning.
Gentlemen, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Time reckon in Trinidad and Port of Spain and environs is a hustle. That is the plain, simple truth about it. It's about revenue collection most of the time. And I witnessed something on Sunday night, I reckon, that took place on the lower half of Murray Street near Adam Smith Square on the eastern side opposite Republic Bank. It was approximately 9:50 thereabouts. And there weren't many cars parked on that street, but there's alternate parking on the street. Now, I'm not blaming the police officers for this because they're carrying out their duty in terms of illegal parking. But you go on that street because people park there for a short time to go into the ATM on Republic Bank, and they would come and pick up these cars because there's no parking that's supposed to be allowed on a Sunday night. And because it's alternate parking, and they pick up these cars. Time and time again we talk. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know. I have always advocated that a lot of those parking on alternate sides, especially in places like Arapita Avenue and downtown Port of Spain, should be relaxed after 8 p.m. in the night.
Correct.
How difficult is that to accomplish as a city council?
And not until somebody takes litigation against the offending party or the responsible entity, such as the Port of Spain Corporation, these things will continue. Year after year, we're doing everything wrong in this country, and I'm just trying not to be upset about it. You know that you have a CPL match that's going on. The same thing happens down in Brian Lara with the parking facilities. As Mr. Dr. Richard said, why not have a shuttle? Have a shuttle from West Mall, have a shuttle from the car park in Port of Spain, the major car park that you have, so on, and have shuttles running where people don't have to come to the venue. You can imagine if you have a real emergency taking place at the Queen's Park Oval, and people want to get out in an emergency, everybody going to probably want to jump in their car, they want the car move and everything. You realize what the chaos would take place?
My mindset is be proactive. If you didn't want parking there, put security or signage say no parking or make an announcement before.
Well,
but you still have to provide options for parking safely.
Yeah, if there isn't a sign there that says no parking, I think somebody should take the corporation to task and bite the bullet and let them pay the cost of it.
Thank you. All right. Lots of calls.
And how difficult is it for the police to be, let's assume, well, we'd have to assume, obviously they wanted no parking in Nelson Mandela Park. How difficult it is to have, go to the venue and say, could you make an announcement and ask all people who are parked in Nelson Mandela Park to come and move their cars or they will be wrecked?
And give up that money?
How difficult is that? Because people would have come out and moved their cars.
Yeah.
They would not want it to be wrecked. And you know where everybody is.
All right, let's grab this call. Good morning.
Morning, Richard Steve and Richard Ragoobarsingh.
Good morning, Mr. Patrick.
Good morning.
You know, when you watch these things and you try to analyze it, it boils down to wickedness and vindictiveness. What program they have in the park? They have any program in the park? They obstructing anybody in the park? Is there any program in the park that people blocking the park? People come to see a cricket match. They say Trinidad and Tobago people don't like sports. People come out to watch a cricket match. The parking facilities they park in the Mandela Park. And all the while they reckon people come in the night. There's something wrong with this place, boy. Something wrong with this place, But Richard Ragoobarsingh, you are a real patient, I listened to you the other day with the guy with the property tax and the calculation and his grandmother pay and he went and paid for 10 minutes. Richard is a patient, But I am patient, boy.
All right, thanks, Mr. Patrick. Take
This
one
is
more
the
call
obvious
before we get to news headlines. Good morning. Let's get into headlines, and then I don't know. Oh, the poll didn't go up yesterday.
You have papers, Richard?
Yeah, I do.
You
You
can
want me to go ahead,
please.
or
Yes,
you're taking
thanks.
one more call, Steve?
No, 6:46. Go ahead, please.
All right. So I'll start with the news day for today. And of course, the news day for today. Today is Thursday, September 19th. DCP's warning after Dialsing robbery. We are coming for you. That's the headline that the Newsday went with. Team TKR, Trinidad Night Riders fans in party mode at the Queen's Park Oval, Port of Spain on September 18th as TKR faced the Ghana Amazon Warriors. So you have that picture on your front page. Budget day is September 30th. And there's the front page of the Business Newsday, which is inside. Gen Z takes the lead. And I saw something when they were saying that Gen Z is the generation that drinks the least amount of alcohol since records are kept or something like that.
Raleigh.
This is the generation that is drinking the least amount of alcohol. I don't know how accurate the figures are. On the back page of the Newsday, David Drabras seal 5-wicket victory as Warp versus Warriors. TKR win first home match. Latapi, I have not applied for Soca Warriors post. And there is a picture of the match, the CPL match last night with Ghana Amazon Warriors batsman Kevin Sinclair. So that's it on the front and the back of the Newsday. Daily Express. 2 suspects held, senior cop calls and others involved in the Dialsing robbery to surrender. Then the main picture is that of inspirational woman at the Gala International Women's Forum, Trinidad and Tobago. President Joanne Salazar left, and International Women's Forum Global President Carolyn Carter, third from right, pose with inspirational women winners Deborah Christina De Rosia, Inspirational Champion of Woman Award, Rhonda Mary Mingo, Inspirational Legacy Award, and Professor Judith Gobin Arahu, Inspirational Advocate Award, and Akosa Dardane Edwards, Inspirational Emerging Leader Award at Tuesday's Inspirational Women Awards Gala at the Hyatt Regency Trinidad Hotel. That's the main picture. And NLCB director suspended, and budget day is September 30th. Let me see who's the NLCB director who was suspended. Right. And on the back page, by the Express, and on the back page of the Daily Express this morning, anguish over Afia, grief as mom of 3 dies. Wicked monster slammed. TKR support. Well, it's pictures of TKR support at the Queen's Park Savannah last night. Then in the revelry, until of course they went to their cars, and the main sports thing, because I have to go into the Express a little bit. But let's just go with that picture of the TKR outside of the sports. Trinidad and Tobago Guardian. St. George's teachers upset over minister's response to issue. No big stick is the headline that the Guardian went with this morning. IMBA announces September 30th as budget day. And there's a picture of a St. George's teacher as she leaves the school's compound. Well, several of them apparently they left the school compound during lunchtime. Cops hold 2 suspects for robbery of health minister. And of course, there's a lot of commentary on social media yesterday concerning that. And Correa denies Nap's victory in that match with, I guess, Fatima and Naps. So that's it for our 3 dailies this morning.
I know that individual.
That's it for our 3 dailies this morning.
All right, let's get the results of our morning poll where we asked you yesterday, do you expect a greater effort at crime fighting after the gunpoint robbery of the Minister of Health, the Honorable Terence Dialsing? That was our poll yesterday. Results are in. 90% 90 said no.
A question this morning comes from a new law passed in Antigua and Barbuda where the lower house passed a law to impose a curfew from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. on minors, where their parents will be held accountable if they're not in the presence of their parents. So our question this morning is coming from that. Would you support such a law in Trinidad and Tobago?
Would you support a law holding parents responsible for their minor children being outside between the hours of 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.? That's our poll this morning.
Yeah.
Would you support a law holding parents responsible for their minor children being outside between 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.? That's our poll this morning. 222-TALK, 222-8255. North Americans, 866-525-1099. People on the web and streaming platforms, you can use the messaging portals on those platforms. If you're watching us on M&E TV, which you should, or listening to us on smart devices, you can WhatsApp us at 868-318-1021. Let the voting begin.
CJ out in New York says yes. Von Drayton, yes. Mrs. R, yes. David Wes, and of course, Mrs. Wes. Yes. Wayne Bennett, yes. Cheryl Henry, yes. Tone Loke, yes. Adonna Clark, yes. Lester Craigwell, yes. Helen Prescott, yes. Julia Espetiste, yes. Lyndon Lassie, yes. Let's see. Oh, we got some here. Cascade St. Anne's, yes. Miss Sampson, yes. Val, yes. Jaron John Joseph, yes. Let's see. Anthony from Toronto, yes. Christine from St. James, yes. Chris J, yes. Helen Prescott, did that. Rena Boodoo Jennings, yes. John Cato, yes. Carol Guevara, yes. Jess Archer Kennedy, yes. Somebody else says yes. Just going through this. Right. Let's see. Katie. Hey, long time, Katie. Yes. Wayne Joseph out in Ontario, Canada. Yes. Anne Noel. Yes. CPT Singh. Hell no. All right. Again, our morning poll. Would you support a law holding parents responsible for their minor children being outside from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.? That's our poll question. Andre, yes. 222-8255. That's our number directly into our studio. Toll free, North Americans, 866-525-1099. Give us a call.
To all of those young people who playing pan for Panorama and who's 16 and 17, and the parents run the risk. Police have a lot of bacchanal to undo.
Yeah, well, I guess the parents will have to evolve and take their kids and be with them.
Yeah, no. But that's what I'm saying. I'm a civil libertarian, so I will never agree to something like that.
All right. Shuma Paul. Yeah. Ooh. Yes. Beauty culture. Yes. DL. Yes. Nicole Gonzalez. Yes. All right. Brennan Smith. Yes. Paulette from Brooklyn. Yes. Up north. Yes. Lorna. Morning, Lorna. Morning, Indy. Morning, Kali. Yes. Brennan Smith, which is Beefy Smith in the beautiful sister Isle of Tobago. Yes. Maria Joseph. No. Josie Richardson. Yes. Would you support a law holding parents responsible for their minor children being outside from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.?
Have you ever seen how clear the moon is these days?
Oh, God, that moon was absolutely gorgeous last night.
It's like, wow, put it right there.
Yeah, it was huge. It was a super harvest moon. Good morning.
To the sun, then telling us.
Good morning.
That's why we had so much rain.
Ragoobarsingh, Ragoobarsingh, if the people have to go out and be part of any kind of function, they need to get a letter. They are letter. This whole them they was in a function.
Yeah, I'm not agreeing with that. I'm not agreeing with nothing that giving the police more powers of enforcement for something like that.
Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Patrick. All right. Ray Garcia, yes. Richard P. Knight, yes.
There'll be all kinds of
Ron M says no to the poll. Say that again, Rich.
I said there'll be all kinds of nuances to why people are outside. Why and what minor is anybody under the age of 18?
Yes.
You'll have 17 years old, you'll have 16-year-old, I mean 10-year-olds and 8-year-olds, of course, but there are already laws concerning that in terms of child neglect and stuff like that.
Let's see. New Hampshire.
The law to be
says
specific and say under 16 years.
Sexy San Fernando says yes to the poll.
Good morning to those of you on YouTube.
Anne Marie says yes. All right. Would you support a law holding parents responsible for their minor children being outside from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.? Yes or no? All right. You have a minute again to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, the funeral service for the late Gary
Maxim
Camejo. The take place this morning at 8:30 a.m. at the St. Charles RC Church in Trinidad. For those of you who need to be reminded and wish to attend.
Yeah, that's why we're all dressed up today.
Oh, you're dressed up? Okay.
Yeah. Put on the Sunday best. Let's see. Did that. Okay. I have somebody else. Who is it? Saying yes. You didn't put a name. But somebody says yes. All right. Okay. Ron M, I got your votes. All right. Let's get in. Of course, our poll is going to go up to stay up on our mobile app on our website. And where you will be able to vote there. And I'll give you the final results. Come tomorrow, Friday. Yay. Can I get a yay?
Oh, Steve.
Oh, jeez. Such a ray of sunshine. Let's get into it. 7 o'clock Nation News. Baby's in.
Is your news bulletin from 102 Digital.
Monday, September 30th is Budget Day in Trinidad and Tobago. Teachers at St. George's College stage lunchtime protest. Stage lunchtime walkout to protest conditions at the school. The opposition leader expresses sympathy over Terence Dialsing's robbery at gunpoint, but says the government will continue to fail in addressing crime. The health ministry warns against interacting with a fake profile, and law passed to impose curfew on minors in Antigua. Details in a moment. This is News to 7 o'clock. I'm Avril Sintel-Bab. Good morning. The national budget will be presented on Monday, September 30th in Trinidad and Tobago. Minister of Finance Colm Imbert made the disclosure on Wednesday. In last year's budget, the expenditure projected was $57.685 billion. Education and training got the largest allocation at $7.453 billion, followed by health, $6.892 billion, national security, $5.798 billion, social grants, $5.453 billion, and works in transport, $3.748 billion. Government said total revenue was projected to be $56.175 billion based on assumption of US $92.50 per barrel, US $6 MMBTU oil price. Teachers at St. George's College and their representing union tutors staged a lunchtime protest yesterday to show their dissatisfaction with Education Minister Dr. Nian Gadsby-Dolly, whom they accuse of using heavy-handed tactics in dealing with them rather than addressing concerns of the school. Moments before a planned protest at lunchtime at the Barataria School, the Education Ministry issued a strongly worded media statement inferring internal sabotage was preventing the school from its vision of success. It also said an investigation had been launched into the disappearance of 80 funds donated to the school. As such, the ministry said the school will now be closely monitored by a school supervisor. The teachers quietly vacated the school en masse to have their lunch outside the compound. The tutor had visited the school moments before the bell rang and said that the teachers were exercising their right to eat in peace at a place they felt safe. This came a day after the recently reopened school experienced what some called unprecedented flooding on Tuesday. That same day, September 17th, was the deadline given to the school's administration by teachers to address the outstanding infrastructural issues they said was still present weeks into the new academic year. Opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissessar yesterday expressed sympathy to Health Minister Terence Singh, who was robbed at gunpoint on Tuesday in St. Joseph. However, UNC Deputy Leader Dr. Rudal Munilal criticized the minister and suggested that negligence contributed to the unfortunate incident. Persad-Bissessar said she empathized with all victims of crime, regardless of political affiliation, including Minister Singh. Nonetheless, she was skeptical that crime reaching the government's doorstep would prompt any meaningful change and pointed out that 4,500 murders, including the brutal killings of children, daily violent home invasions, rapes, extortions, and out-of-control violent crime have not prompted a competent, multifaceted anti-crime approach from this government. Deputy Commissioner of Police, Intelligence and Investigation, Suzette Martin, says the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service strongly condemns the armed robbery of Minister of Health and Member of Parliament for St. Joseph, Terence Singh. Several persons are being interviewed and assisting police in their investigations.
I wish to reassure the public that a thorough investigation is already underway, and all efforts are being made to swiftly apprehend those responsible. Several persons are being interviewed and are assisting us in this investigation. We will ensure that all involved in this crime face the full brunt of the law.
Reports indicate 66-year-old Minister Singh was sitting on a bench outside a bar along King Street, St. Joseph, around 4:55 p.m. on Tuesday, 17th September, when he was approached by two men, one armed with a firearm. The gunman allegedly pointed the firearm at the victim's head and announced a robbery. The assailants relieved Minister Singh of a gold-colored bracelet before making their escape in a green-colored vehicle. Martin also called on those involved in the crime to turn themselves in.
All criminal acts, particularly those involving firearms and violence, will not be tolerated in any form. The safety and security of all citizens, including public officials, remains the utmost priority of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. To those who were involved in this crime, my best advice to you is to turn yourself in with your attorney, relative, or friend, since rest assured, we are coming after you.
Reports say two suspects have been held in connection with the robbery involving the Ministry of Health, according to police officers of the Interagency Task Force. According to reports, police officers of the Interagency Task Force went to St. Paul Street where they saw a blue Hyundai Elantra, which they believe was involved in the robbery. They intercepted the vehicle and 2 male suspects were apprehended. You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. Antigua's Parliament's lower house has passed legislation which will impose a 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew on minors. It is contained in the Small Charges Amendment Bill 2024. Prime Minister Gaston Brown noted the importance of promoting and instilling discipline, especially among delinquent young people.
So this particular bill is extremely important from the standpoint of reducing the amount of loitering that is taking place among our youth during the day and nighttime hours, especially the nighttime hours. And let us not forget too that we have a growing situation in which adult men are literally picking up our underage girls. So again, very significant in terms of protecting our young females and at the same time our males, many of whom had become part of these gang networks and literally committing crimes, especially during the nights.
The bill is aimed at protecting the nation's youth and holding their parents and guardians accountable. Mr. Brown said the move is critical in reducing acts of lawlessness among men and women.
Youth delinquency is on the rise throughout the Caribbean region, and many of the acts of crime and violence that are committed within the region are committed by our youth. As a consequence, we now have a situation in which crime and violence is a public health epidemic within the Caribbean region.
Straight into weather news for the period today until midnight. Trinidad and Tobago, predominantly hot and sunny conditions despite a few showers. There is a medium chance of a few afternoon heavy showers or thunderstorms favoring, but not confined to hilly and western areas of Trinidad. Tonight will be mostly fair. Gusty winds and street flooding may occur near heavy showers or thunderstorms. Look out for a forecast maximum temperature of 34 degrees Celsius at Piarco International Airport and 32 degrees Celsius at Crown Point in Tobago. Currently, it is 25 degrees Celsius at Piarco and 26 degrees Celsius at Crown Point. Recapping your headlines to 7 o'clock, Monday, September 30th is Budget Day in Trinidad and Tobago. Teachers at St. George's College stage lunchtime walkout to protest conditions at the school. The opposition leader expresses sympathy over Terence Dialsing's robbery at gunpoint, but says government will continue to fail in addressing crime. The health ministry warns against interacting with fake profile, and a law is passed to impose a curfew on minors in Antigua. I'm Avril Sindel-Bab. That was news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for more news in detail at 12 noon today and an update at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All right. Thank you, Evie, for our major news. You can join her again at 8 o'clock for a news update. Of course, during the sound bites, Evie and myself was talking. And she was saying, you were telling me, Evie.
I was saying, good morning, Paul. Good morning, Richard. I was saying that I think it incredulous that a government has to enact a law, has to impose a curfew to tell you as a parent that you need to be responsible for your child between 10 and 6. Between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. The government has to tell you that your child cannot be outdoors unattended. Your minor cannot be outside unattended. I think that incredulous.
Yeah. But the government, the state and itself, another kill one another. Where's your point?
True, I don't have one.
Yeah, there are already laws governing behavior of the responsibility of parents and minor children.
So understand that my point is not just with this particular law, but the fact that there has to be laws that tell you as a parent that you need to be responsible for your children is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I don't understand the same, and I'm not saying that I've not seen situations where those laws are necessary. I'm simply saying that it continues to but I continue to find it incredulous that they have to now put in laws to help you to be a responsible parent, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. And anytime you have laws, you always ask, what's the intent of this law? What's the purpose of this law?
What's the purpose of the law?
What is the purpose of this? What do you want to accomplish? What is it trying to address? You know, so is it that there is an upsurge of young unaccompanied minors on the roads of Trinidad and Tobago or in Antigua? Well, it's not in Trinidad and Tobago, it's in Antigua.
It's Antigua.
So is there a surge of young people on the roads between 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.? Is it that there is a
I think that's what
element?
I think that's what the Prime Minister was saying, that they found that there were too many minors that were unattended during the hours of the night, or guess wee hours of the morning, and they felt that it warranted some action by the government. I'm saying that that's just incredulous. And the fact that there would be people out there who are saying, well, the government can't tell you what to do. They shouldn't have to, love.
Yeah. But I'm not understanding what they mean by minors. Are they talking about 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds?
So that is the one thing in the story that I didn't get. They weren't specific on what ages specifically.
Yeah, because you have minors that are very young.
A minor could be 16.
Yeah, could be 16, 17.
Exactly. Exactly. So I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So I'm not so sure what it's trying to address.
Neither. But still, I still find it incredulous that as a parent you don't notice. Even as a child who's 17, that child is still a minor. So ideally you should still know where your child is.
But
ideally, nobody should have to tell you.
Because you're not making the presumption that all parents are created equal. And that is not so.
Understand, Paul. We always have this conversation, Paul Richards, Dr. Richards. Good morning.
Not
again.
all parents are created.
And that's fine, but it's still
have the same sense of responsibility.
Which I think is sad.
There are parents who leave a 10-year-old in charge of a 5-year-old and go party.
There are parents who leave 5-year-olds home alone and go party.
So that's why I'm saying all parents are not created equally and don't have the same sense of responsibility.
The sad thing is, these same parents may not necessarily adhere to any law that you put in place simply because, according to you, that's simply not how they're wired.
Oh. And then another limb of law.
There are already laws like that anyway. That's the whole point.
I agree, but I don't know what
they have to adhere to those. What's going to make them adhere to this?
But the laws may not exist in Antigua and Barbuda in the same way they exist here. They may have a different legal framework.
True.
Maybe.
Have a good day, darling.
You too, my darling.
Thanks for the coffee yesterday.
You're welcome.
I was coming to the studio this morning, but then I was saying, no good, if I have no coffee upstairs, that's it.
Hanif Daniel says no. Of course, our morning poll: would you support a law holding parents responsible for their minor children being outside from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.?
So that was the only extra vote you have, right, Steve?
Yep.
All right. So we had our poll our poll is, you can see it. But if you can't see it because you're listening, would you support a law holding parents responsible for their minor children being outside from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.? We had 48 people voting on the poll this morning. And of the 48 people, 45 of you said yes, you would support a law holding parents responsible for their minor children being outside from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. And 3 of you said no.
Right now, question, Richard.
Not support such a law.
According to your memory and knowledge of the law, if police hold, for example, a 12-year-old on the streets at 11 p.m., they can take the person home, but they can't say that it's illegal for that child to be outside.
No.
They could the child is involved in something nefarious, they could possibly swing a negligence charge.
But if the child has committed an offense, the child can be detained, and then they'll be required by law to call the duty council 24-hour line, and a representative, an attorney, has to be present before they interview that child.
But I think they're part of the Children's Act.
They also need to call the guardian, the parent, and/or guardian.
But it's parts of the Children's Act that speak to supervision and negligence. if the child is in a committing a crime, and that crime puts the child in the eyes of the authority in a dangerous position.
Well, those kinds of things could be.
You could argue that.
You could argue all of those sorts of things from the current laws that we have.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of latitude right now. But when you're saying, but if you are putting a curfew or you're creating a law that restricts movement, it becomes a constitutional issue because, of course, under our constitution, you have freedom of movement. So if you're restricting a class of citizens in terms of their movement between certain hours, then to me, that's a constitutional issue. If you're creating a law like that. I mean, I'm not so sure if Antigua is creating a law or if they're using emergency powers. I'm not sure. And I'm not sure what their construct is and how those things are accomplished in their chambers and if there is a special majority required, etc. So I have no clue. But that's it. But that's our results. The results are 48. 45 people saying yes, they support it. 3 people saying no, they don't. And of course, you can continue to vote on this poll throughout the day, throughout programming. We'll give the final results tomorrow morning, which will be Friday. By the way, the weekend begins tonight. People are the second after midnight. And of course, just reminding you that theater will be on next week, Saturday and Sunday at Queen's Hall, a brand new play, brand new, written by Ricardo Samuel, called That's Extravagant News. What happens in the dark comes to the light. And that's a brand new play that starts next week, Saturday and Sunday at Queen's Hall. So it premieres at Queen's Hall Saturday at 8:30 p.m. and Sunday at 6:30 p.m. That's Extravagant News. What happens in the dark comes to the light. So that opens next week. Of course, tickets will be on sale probably from tomorrow at Queen's Hall from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily, and the usual outlets from Saturday, I believe. If not tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's grab some calls here. Go.
Are we interviewing Mr. Bacchus today? Because we didn't interview him yesterday. I know we were supposed to interview him yesterday. Yeah. I was a little confused why we didn't interview him yesterday.
Yeah, Paul was organizing that. He said no. Good morning. Good morning.
Steve. Good morning. Good morning, Steve.
Morning.
Good morning, Dr. Paul.
Good morning, my dear. How are you this morning?
I'm great. And good morning, Richard. Sipping your coffee. Take care, Richard. Take care.
It is a little hot, actually.
So, my son went to, when he told me he was going quickly, I said, where you parking? Because I am paranoid with that, He said at IMAX, but he left very early. So he parked there because he showed me 412 spaces. So I said,
yeah, a lot of people want to park in one Woodbrook.
Yeah. So I was happy it's there because I hate to think my car park on a street. Because I know about this wrecking thing with cars parked on street. But I find it so disgusting to see these videos that these wreckers taking joy in just lighting up the car that they're going and put on that wrecker. And there was no parking sign from what I saw in the videos you all showed. There's no parking sign to say no parking here, no parking there, and people park. If you don't want them to park, put up these signs. So
signage is a whole different show.
Yeah. I mean, why they're so wicked, and they're laughing all the way to wherever. So tell me, did they do something right? In our country, we don't have any shuttle service that could take us as sporting event and where we have the vehicles parked at that area and then take us back. But it used to happen before, right? Because I have been to shows where we take the bus downtown park and drop us and we went back. So what happened to that? A big event like this, the CPL, a big event, we know about that 3 months ago and more. So is the Port Spain City Corporation that is responsible, right? So they're not thinking outside the box. I get so upset. The time my vehicle I see going on in that wrecker, but I get so upset to see these things going on in the wrecker and poor people coming out after enjoying themselves from such a great match to find their car missing. So is it that they go and pay the money last night itself or that they wait for today? they said that last night was available for them to collect money.
Yeah.
I'm just asking because you don't pay so much for your ticket already, and I have to pay the next 500. Is it 500, sir?
Yeah.
It is. It's 500.
Okay, so I mean, I got wrecked already, and I don't want that next wrecking. So I was very upset, and I felt sorry for these people who had to fork out extra money for something that is really not their fault. Because look how many cars there. So it's obvious everybody will park at Mandela Park. So poor planning. And finally, I listened to the DCP Martin yesterday. Dr. Paul, sorry. You know, she spoke and she's speaking kind of childish, like, it's not instilling any kind of fear in anybody. And especially her language too. I was kind of not feeling good as how she spoke, as a DCP, and kind of petty language now. And probably, I'm not saying her grammar so much, but something about what she was saying sounds childish to me and not fearful to anybody. So the people who she asking to come and give herself up, they ain't taking her on this morning. They're probably doing something else, probably something else illegal as well, and they ain't taking her on. Anyway, so you all have a wonderful day. Wendell, I'll show you in your glee. Good morning. Have a good day, y'all.
Using his glee last night. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Morning.
I listened to that video with that guy, that idiot. If that guy had gone to the U.S. Embassy with a document 1 day old, and they had told him, sorry, sir, we cannot accept this, he would have never do a video complaining as how he complaining so bitterly. I tell you, that's why the U.S., they say they're mighty, boy. We respect the U.S. Embassy and everything. That sacred ground on Mali Street. I had an experience during that COVID, leaving Atlanta, had to go and get the PCR test. My sister-in-law took me. And when we went with the document and the time the day the flight was, they told me the document will already be expired. I had to go and get a next one. My son experienced that in Trinidad, leaving Trinidad to go back to Germany. He lost his flight, had to go by St. Augustine Medical or whatever to get another PCR test because Copa Airlines was not accepting the document. What is wrong with Trinidad people, boy? No wonder why this country, we have laws and it can't be enforced because the same people, they complain, oh God, they this, they that, but I have a friend in the embassy say from the time they reach Mali Street, they jump in, they doesn't even ask which line, they go in the wrong line, they go in the line for residence and not the one to get a visa because they want to be correct. My God, that man upset me anytime. It's about 2 people send that video and delete it one time. Rubbish. And I want to say to the
quickly, I have a lot of calls
in Tobago, it seems as though as the 2 senior men were moved, all you now start to walk. All you start to push back. All you say, all you was looking for these 2 men, it is alleged. And as these Kirk and the other guy was removed, you'll suddenly find these men all you were looking for. Anyway, keep up the good work, officers. Take a bow this morning. Bye.
All right. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How long I'm on the line? Since before the line opened.
Well, there are a lot of calls coming through. That's why we tell people to make it quickly.
I was on the line way before the line opened. Don't tell me no calls coming in.
No, you see, we don't take calls until we tell you to call in.
And
so if you call before, you would not get through like that.
Okay, listen to me carefully, Mr. Richard. Why, Mr. Ragoobarsingh, if they implement all the laws that's supposed to be implemented, the country wouldn't be in this mess, The place is designed to stress the hell out of you. It's designed to stress you out. Just imagine, I heard somebody was talking about something happened in the school the other day. I think it was Mr. Lincoln. And no, the next guy, what is just, he doesn't say good morning, he just come on the phone and say, yeah. That one, I can't remember his name. Anyhow, I'm talking about social services when the children behaving bad in school. So when you're going to hold the parents itself accountable, how social services get in there? My taxpayers' money helping everybody but me. Hold the parents accountable from the school. If they misbehave in school, keep them in school until the parents come. It's something had to start somewhere. People shouldn't be just passing laws to take care of people's children. It's this place is just a mess concerning the wrecking. A lot of people don't go to cricket. The place a nice venue. The place had a good turnout. You're going to come to pick up people's vehicles. What is the sense? Everybody working on stupidness and common sense is not common. Good grief. The place is just a hot mess. Have a good day.
Same to you.
The place is a hot mess.
Yes. I tried calling the mayor of Port of Spain. I did not get him. I'll try him again.
He named hot this morning. He answered no phone.
Yeah, well.
But nobody answered me about Mr. Bacchus. You said there was an interview with Mr. Bacchus yesterday.
Yeah, we were trying to get him.
Also, it wasn't confirmed.
It was not confirmed.
Oh, it sounded like it was
Bacchus is that?
confirmed. Hassel Bacchus, Minister of Digital Transformation. Minister of Digital Transformation.
Yeah, maybe let me see.
Okay, my bad. I thought it was confirmed. So we're still taking your calls, 222-TALK, 222-8255. North Americans, 866-525-1099. And of course, people on the web and the app, but I suppose you can send your comments and Steve will read them. But we prefer you call in at this point. So 222-TALK, 222-8255. North Americans, 866-525-1099. And of course, we encourage.
Somebody's asking why we're not on Amplia. Channel 117.
We'll be on M&E TV, so is whether M&E TV is on Amplia.
This is for M&E TV. Whatever channel that is.
On Amplia?
Yeah.
It will be somewhere on Amplia. I would know.
Somewhere. So many low channels. All right, let's grab this call. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
So far, it's been.
Right. Hope you'll have a good morning. You know, I always say that millennials are fixers. We usually fix issues and we are usually proactive. And unfortunately, this morning I have to give Mr. Allen, the worship the mayor, I have to give him an F this morning. We would have known since quite some time, I think the launch of PPL would have taken place since in June, that we would have had 2 games at the Queen's Park Oval. The mayor would have had ample time to put a plausible solution in place to assuage the issue what we would have seen there last night. And it is rather unfortunate. And I ain't done yet. When I finish, I'm going to tag the City Corporation on Facebook and give them a flag. I am hoping that they put something in place for this next game as it will take place tonight, PKR versus Falcons. I'm hoping that they put something in place to assuage the issue. It is unacceptable to have tons of persons going to watch a game only to come out to see your vehicle wrecked because you, as the mayor, was very indolent and lackadaisical in putting something in place to assuage the issue what we saw there last night. So, Mayor, I'm giving you an F. You know, I always think there's a correlation with millennials and being intelligent, but today, I look like I have to look at that closely. Have a good morning, gentlemen.
All right, you too, pal. Have a good one as well. Be safe.
Millennials have a lot of
You think anybody who got a car wreck last night going back tonight?
I wasn't going back.
Exactly. Or hear that car get wrecked last night going back?
I'd be so mad.
Come on.
I'll be
so mad.
And people who heard about the wrecking, which I'm sure almost every radio station is talking about, are going to be thinking, should I go? I might get wrecked tonight. to.
Let me call her ride share.
So players 117 for that caller.
Yeah, he's on 117. We're saying not sure.
117. Thank you, Paul. You were on top of things there.
Yeah.
So players 117 is where you can watch it on M&E TV.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
Like a millennial there, Paul.
We need a mayor in San Fernando. The door is open. There is no seats and there is no mayor. Could somebody put a female these male and helping us in San Fernando at all? The next one, have some party brewing for November like that is his main concern. And
Yeah, the name of the party. What's the name of the party? What's the name of the party?
It's on my phone. I can't remember now. I would WhatsApp it for you when I come out.
No, I think it's not Stush.
Right. Exactly. Yes. Nothing doing in San Fernando. The place in a hot mess. Garbage bags all over the place. You can't see the mayor. Mayor can't council and mayor at the same time. We're councilling. We need a mayor in San Fernando. Apparently, guy alone living in San Fernando. Nobody else complaining. Nobody fighting for the place. It's just a hot mess. I am fed up. Carajo. Have a good day.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oopsie. Good morning.
Hey, Steve and
Morning.
what's up? Okay. We have Carnival. We have the Oval has been there for years upon years upon years. I don't know. It must be, I'm sure, close to 100. And we have here's the Crawford, and we still haven't gotten parking under, wrapped up in a bow and a tie in the culture of how we can park around these festivals and these events. I find it a kind of real sad aspect of your cultural civilization and urban planning that you can't bring that into context. And Richard, yeah, I support you with that. And the funny thing about it, again, the thing with the children, at a certain time is like the truancy, community policing. You're seeing something, you pull up your axe, you intervene, and you set these things in motion, the proper things in motion. Now, we just, a society of just passing laws and laws that makes no sense, and we don't understand that when you're passing, things have certain economic investments in it. That you have to invest in that, you have to invest in the trading. It makes no sense. We always put in things on top of things, not trying to fix what we already have. And I think that is the funny thing about Trinidad. And it's blindside everybody, because everybody is getting, oh, right. It's like a kind of, maybe taking heroin and they put you in a kind of sedated kind of feeling. That's what you get when you do that. And it makes the citizens feel that you're doing something, but nothing is happening when you generally have to fix what you have already existing. And it's sad that we haven't gotten around to understanding that. And so you run a poll and everybody, yeah, holy cow. And I find that is just fix what you have.
Yeah.
That's
all right.
Get the guys to work.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sexy San Fernando is saying there's a stretch of potholes on San Fernando Street, which is a main connector street since last term. The holidays come and gone, school open back, and they still can't fix it. She also concurs exactly the same thing with what Ms. Sampson was saying, is that Stush, name of the party. And they're saying that that's all he studied, not a pothole they're fixing. They've called, they've complained, to no avail.
Well, a lot of the now it's not. Now, even now, a lot of those regional corporations, borough councils ain't doing squat because they're close to the end of the fiscal year.
Yeah.
So they're probably going to say they're out of money or they have no money at this point, and that nothing could be fixed. Because I know in the Arima situation, from my ears on the ground, so to speak, is that all things have stopped because they're building a police station in the Arima market, probably to accompany people in the access center going to the toilet. That's just me being facetious. Don't get upset. and it's stopped because they run out of cement, and they have no money to buy none.
Yeah.
And so I've heard, and I heard all projects are basically at a standstill because you're drifting towards September 30th. So all money's run out, or whatever money you had run out, and that's it. It's on pause. So I don't even know what I read my background. So workers do when they go to work. Sit down online, talk, chit chat. I don't know. Talk about the reckon.
Play bingo with the mayor.
Cricket match. Well, I don't even know what the mayor is doing. I already talked to IDB already. I tell IDB, we need to get IDB on this program, because I want to know if they're taking back their money for that smart city, or if they still continue with that project and what's happening with that project. Because I am sorry, there is not enough PR on that project and what is going on in Arima with regard to that smart city. Nothing is happening in Arima. And in terms of that, in terms of the PR of it, and I don't even know what's going on. All I know is they're building a police station in the market, and that the toilet's too far. That's what I've heard. And
is that building still in front of the sign, or whatever you had talked about a while back?
Yes, they built it. Yes, they built it. They built it right in front of the windows. You feel I was lying? I sent all the pictures.
Yeah, we saw it. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, morning once more again. We heard the date now for the budget. It's of September.
Of September, yes.
Recently, they had a new panel to deal with food prices in Trinidad and Tobago. As Krema was saying about Kazim Hussein.
That's chips loud enough?
No.
And so far now, when you go in the grocery and the supermarket, brother, if you go to that $2,000,
you're still seeing the ground from the cart.
Because in the end of the day, the simple man can buy basic food to eat right now. The simple man cannot buy basic food to eat for his family and things. Yesterday I had a conversation with a lady and she said, thank God for the school feeding program for the jet. Because
I told you, the parents who
it's
a great help to many parents.
Households, yeah.
Yeah, and the free bus ride. So what the government having in place to assist people who work in a certain kind of salary, and these things, boy, what they put in place? Because it's not people who could afford it. It's not people who spend money left, right, and center in this country. But it's not a lot of people who working for under a certain minimum wage. How they surviving, right? So I want to hear what the budget has to say for food prices and certain things, because I know food got up all over the world. You understand? I was in the States recently and food prices really got up outside there and throw them too. But we in a little 1x4 country with 1,400,000 people. We could at least do something to help some of the people. So I would say the budget, because a lot of people say the budget don't really benefit them because they have to suffer the same way. Understand?
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Mr. Patrick.
It's just like what things that frustrate you in Trinidad sometimes. That, like, for example, that issue with the Trust Trail housing project with HDC and having to, I think, demolish all of the houses if the media reports are correct. And
750 million, they said.
Some of the houses.
And start over the project. And start over the project in terms of it. Those things annoy me.
Yeah.
And you know why they annoy me? Because there are so many people that need housing in Trinidad and Tobago. And all of these are delays to people getting access to proper housing because it wasn't done right. Just like the HDC projects that were summarily cancelled, the ones that were supposed to take place about a month ago or so, 2 major projects, HDC pulled back the procurement, and which I talked about. That's annoying. So you have to start over the entire procurement process again because somebody objected, and you don't have to restart a procurement project because somebody objected. Objecting is their right. But if your procurement process is beyond reproach, you continue.
Yep.
But what it does, in fact, is delay access to housing stock yet again from two major projects that affect citizens who are in this big pool waiting on housing. The noise.
I hear you. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Calm down. I need to know. I would like to get a list of how many things we get free in this country compared to other countries. And like more we get is more we want. The food prices have nothing to do with the government. They have to do with who owns the grocery stores. Where is that man who normally does the on your station? They're talking about the food price. And is Dr. Rowley doing this and PNMN doing this? I would just like to have a list of all the freebies we get in here, because it have women have 2 children and getting help and still making 2 more, and the father still living in the home. I mean, that's such a money just wasted that could use somewhere else on Richard project. You understand? A lot of people able and getting disability. It have these guys that just come from outside, what they call them, the deportees. I know one just come in the country and getting government help, and where do you think he go to sniff the money? You understand? They need to check up on these things. People could work, he could work in CPEP. Money just given away and people just begging. Just now the whole country will be freebie. Let us go outside and see. You have to sweat for everything. Trinidad nice. Love the place. Help your neighbors. Help clean it up. The eating and fling. And then calling about the flood. Why the government they do something about the flood? Well, continue eating and throw your box down in the drain. Who cares? Throw the bamboo in the river. The fridge in the river. What the heck? Have a good day.
It's raining me this morning, yes?
Ready? Is your drained face?
Anyway, I have to leave just now to go and get ready for Gary's funeral, so I have much more to take.
Again, Gary's funeral is Gary Camejo, our colleague at the office. It's at 8:30 this morning at St. Charles RC Church. So, go, baby, go.
So there's another match at the Oval tonight?
Yep.
PKR versus who's it again? It's TKR versus somebody again. I can't remember. Falcons?
You could be right.
I think it's Falcons.
You know the other side of the wrecking, I think, can help solve the issue is that the Commissioner of Police, because by my understanding, police have to accompany the wreckers in the execution of the duty, right?
That's what they asked this morning.
The Commissioner of Police can tell her officers only wreck people who are indiscriminately parked, leave people in Mandela Park, unless they're blocking an entrance. Not so?
Well, isn't it City Police that accompanies them?
It's City Police. Who in charge of City Police? Corporation. There's the mayor.
I'm not so sure what the reporting relationship is. And don't know that they report to the Commissioner of Police. I'm not sure. That's already something Wendell can answer. But I believe it's City Police that accompanies wreckers in Port of Spain and not actual national police. But I'm subject to correction. The one who's the expert on that is not with us this morning. He will be able to tell you precisely. Or you could send a message. Maybe he's sending a message. I'm not sure.
He sent a different message. Okay, y'all have a great day. Be safe out there. I have to leave now. Please watch out for each other and have a wonderful day.
So we're still taking some of your calls as we head towards 8 a.m. on this Thursday morning. The weekend begins tonight. People at a second after midnight. We have about 10 minutes again in terms of your ability to call into the program. So 222-TALK, 222-8255, North Americans 866-525-1099.
Yep, we are taking your calls. Of course, our morning poll. You can vote on it on our mobile app and our website. All right. Would you support a law holding parents responsible for their minor children being outside from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.? Would you support it? Yes or no? On our mobile app and on our website at power102fm.com. You should have our mobile app on downloaded onto your device already. Good morning.
Would you support it?
Good morning, caller.
Hey, honey.
Hello.
Morning, honey.
Hey, morning. How are you?
I am good. I am good.
I tell you a big good morning yesterday, and you're thanking Steve.
I thanking Steve. Steve is just Steve. Okay, I said all kind of lover, all kind of thing in the chat for you. You know, once you have kisses in the chat, look and see the name that follows the kisses. Okay, sugar. That being said, honey, you don't need Wendell to answer you with the city. I can tell you it's city police. I know for sure just as well. It's not the normal police. It is city police.
Oh, okay. Yeah, actually, he now sent some messages concerning that. You're right.
I am correct. I am knowledgeable, Rich. You are knowledgeable about the law, but I am knowledgeable about many things too now.
Mm-hmm.
But, Rich, I also have a problem too, because if it is you can't park in the Nelson Mandela Park, Rich, if you're not allowed to park there, then you have to stand the consequences. When you're going to Fed, you just park any and anywhere.
But I don't think people have a problem that if it is you can't park in Nelson Mandela, then put up signage that says no parking allowed.
But all during the week, people don't just park there in Nelson Mandela Park. You don't, not so?
But
why we having a delay all of a sudden, Mr. Ragoobarsingh?
No. If you have enough signage, people will not park there.
Yeah, but
if you have touts, as Wendell said, there were touts telling people you could park.
Yeah, but you can't take on touts to sell your carnival time. You can climb the island to by the stadium and park there.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, if there are people telling you can park in a venue, some people are going to think that you can park, especially if there is no signage. And I'm all about giving citizens the information. Give them the information. Don't let them guess. Give them the information.
What I'm saying is the same way. You're not guessing, is using your common sense too. You're not going to take on a tout, Richard, who tells you can park on top of an island and we watching your car. Yeah.
That's not what happened. That is not what happened here. What happened here was you were parking in Nelson Mandela Park and there were people telling you that you could park here. And I'm saying, if the city wants to be...
Who are the people, Rich? My question is, who are the people telling you can park here?
Come on. You meet all sorts of people across Trinidad and Tobago telling you could park here. And plenty time people...
Go with their advice and follow blindly and follow the leader.
And plenty times people do park and they pay the $10 and they pay the $5. That happens across the country. The country. Especially when there's a shortage of parking. So I can't blame citizens for that.
But then, Rich, you're taking a chance and you're gambling. It could go your way or it go bound to go your way. You have to tell yourself.
The point is that if the Port of Spain City Council is proactive, we would have had clear signage that says you could not park here. And citizens
agreed. Yes, agreed. Guess what? But Rich, they wouldn't. And I'm saying now, don't blame nobody but yourself for these things that happen.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's not the kind of country that I want. The kind of country I want has to be citizen friendly, and it has to be. No, I don't want a perfect. I want people to do their jobs, and there is a responsibility on you to inform the burgesses of where they can or cannot park, because you would have also had foreigners who would not have known, who would be coming to matches. You would have had people coming in from other islands to go to that match. They wouldn't know.
And I understand and I empathize. I totally empathize. But when I was out there too during the holidays, you're not gonna, Richard. To me, you will always make. I see your
Some
point.
countries are going to be more organized than others. Christy, some are going to be more organized. Trinidad and the Port of Spain City Council is not organized.
And we know this, therefore, we know that is a big factor time after time when events like these happen, that they might very well have wrecking Carnival Tuesday when you finish playing mass, you get wrecked. After cricket, you get wrecked. These are the consequences that sometimes, unfortunately, is all I am saying.
All right.
Give citizens the information. Or that's all I'm saying.
Always have to give information.
Citizens the information.
All right, you can continue on this. Thank you, Mrs. Zara.
Yeah, we are terrible. We are terrible with signage in this country. Terrible with signage.
Awful. Horrible signage. Don't even know what street you're on sometimes. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, all.
Morning.
Richard, you referred to that situation where the houses, the contract for the houses that was pulled back. You said, even a statement, if it wasn't beyond reproach, you see no reason for them to pull it back. I agree with that. But then maybe I would use the word, maybe it was not done correctly. I don't want to use the word it was not done legally. It was not done correctly. And they saw what they did, what the mistake was made. And to prevent them being liable somewhere down the road, they decided, you know what, let's pull back this contract one time. That's my thought process. And I find many people didn't give much credence to that scenario. Just like by the way that happened. But I find a very important thing that, sometimes you give a contract was $425 million to a Chinese company, and you just put it back so quick. That means something may not have been done correctly. That's just my thought process. All right? I'm not.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But
Good morning.
Some agencies free
Hello, good morning.
Yeah,
Good morning,
good
guys. All right, it's Wendell.
Is who?
It's Wendell.
We have a co-host on the show called Wendell. Ironic that you guys are the same name.
Yeah.
Wendell, I was waiting for you last time to pick him up to go cricket.
Yeah, I know. But listen, I couldn't take it no more. Richard, I don't know you because with Mrs. Harry. I can't take all that stuff unnecessary quarreling, G's and ages and making an excuse for something that could have been fixed. It either could have been fixed with saying there is to be absolutely no parking at Mandela Park, and you put the city police there to ensure that the barriers remain closed and nobody has access to the park. That was one way. The other way is the way that our councils would have done it in the past. Well, not under Martinez, and certainly not under Leasing. He banned parking in the park. But under Mayor Brown, and even Mayor Timke for a while, we allowed parking in the park. We collected funds from parking. We put attendants in place. We put police in place. And it was official. You could park certain parts because, of course, during the rainy season, you can't park everywhere because it will destroy some of the fields that the guys and then using to play football. But there are parts of the park that you can use. And a proactive council, I'm not in this council. I don't know what the decision was made or whatever, because I'm chatting with a current councillor and he's not even aware that there were issues at Mandela Park last evening. You understand? So, but be proactive and do something. It was an opportunity. And she gone down the road up, you don't normally park there on Carnival time. This is an international cricket event where people coming from all over the world to watch cricket. They are going to go to the most available place to park, which is this big green space. And if the barriers are open and there are people there telling you go and park, whether they're legal or illegal, you're going to do it. You understand? And so to go and wreck them now after, you listen, you know how I feel about wrecking, eh? Or you know how I feel about wrecking, eh? You understand? As a matter of fact, I took a very hard stance against it when I was in that council, and thank God Mayor Timke listened at the time, and he stopped wrecking. Since then, they've been trying to reinstate it. It was recently reinstated. And we are on record as saying wrecking is a hustle. And that's what they do people last night again. They hustle people, you understand, and get a lot of people angry. And who they cussing this morning? You think they will be cussing this morning? And you have the power to do something about it. Yeah? It's tiring, you know.
It is tiring.
It's tiring. Trust me, it's tiring. Especially when people don't listen. You understand? It's tiring.
Well, I've tried to call him mayor a couple of times this morning. I did not get him.
Or call the city police. You understand? Because, I mean, even if the mayor didn't make a decision, the mayor and the council didn't make a decision, it is the police responsibility to protect the park. They have that responsibility also too. They should have had patrols in place, passing by the park and ensuring that nothing illegal taking place there. Come on, man. Listen, I'll go finish my tirade tomorrow. But I want to apologize on here, though. I can't make Gary funeral because I have an appointment at 9 o'clock that I cannot miss.
No problem.
You understand? Yeah.
Who's playing tonight, by the way?
TKR playing Antigua Barbuda Falcon.
And then tomorrow is Brian Lara, right?
No. Brian Lara is next week.
Oh, okay.
Brian Lara is next week, including the public holiday, which is the Tuesday.
Oh.
Right? They have a match 10 o'clock in the morning down at Brian Lara Stadium. I just hope we don't have a repeat of what happened last night in terms of this parking issue tonight, because this game is also sold out. You know, so where will people go? You understand? Put something in place, please. For those
you would think it would be common sense when it comes to planning and parking, and the stakeholders have everything together, but I'm not saying it.
It's an international event. It's not a fete around carnival time.
No, but Wendell, in a fete, you can park it at that park.
Now I say we have done it. You know, the argument is that it's the rainy season, but there are parts of the park that you can allow parking without damaging it. Oh, Christ.
All right. Yeah. Tomorrow, Wendell, or tonight,
for giving us.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap it up.
Also looks at it. All right, so have a fantastic day, people. It is Thursday. The weekend begins tonight, people, at a second after midnight. So enjoy as we move towards the weekend. Have a fantastic day. Of course, just reminding you that the theater will be on next week, Saturday and Sunday, with a brand new play, a brand new comedy. That's Extravagant News. What happens in the dark comes to the light at Queen's Hall on Saturday at 8:30 and Sunday at 6:30. Tickets should be on sale at Queen's Hall from tomorrow, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily and the usual outlets. Have a fantastic day. Whatever you do, remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health.
And let me just add that the funeral for Gary Camillo, Maxim Camillo, our colleague here at the office, is on this morning at 8:30, 30 minutes from now, at the St. Charles RSC Church. And then they're going to head to the crematorium at Allen's in Arima. But if you can't make both, like Wendell can't make it today, you are invited this afternoon at 5:30 to 9 p.m. to the Real Spring Community Center in Valsayn for the repast. All right, that's 5:30 to 9 p.m. As we sit down and we bad dog Gary. I would do that part. I can remember the piece of wood I had with Gary name all over it. I had a piece of wood. I used to write Gary name. Anybody who ill me, put their name on. If your name is on it, Gary's name is number 1 on the list. All right. So that's at Real Spring Community Center from 5:30 to 9 p.m. All right. Let's get into our 8 o'clock news brief, and then I'm going to head to St. Charles RSC Church.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
It is time for your news update to 8 o'clock. I'm Afril Sintel Bob. Good morning. The national budget will be presented on Monday, September 30th in Trinidad and Tobago. Minister of Finance Colm Imber made the disclosure on Wednesday. In last year's budget, the expenditure projected was $57.685 billion. Education and training got the largest allocation of $7.453 billion, followed by health, $6.892 billion, national security, $5.798 billion, social grants, $5.453 billion, and works and transport, $3.748 billion. The Ministry of Health says the Facebook page PNM St. Joseph, purporting to represent Terrence Dialsingh, Minister of Health, and also shared information relating to the Ministry of Health, does not have any legitimate affiliation with the Minister of Health or his office. It's encouraging members of the public to avoid engaging with or sharing information from this fraudulent page. Steps have been taken to report the page. The new ACP in charge of the Tobago Division, Oswayne Subero, is expected to arrive on the island tomorrow. He says he will hit the ground running. Although he's yet to officially receive his appointment, Subero said he was already packing up to head to Tobago. Guardian Media quoted Subero as saying that he will arrive on the island by tomorrow. He added that once he does, he will immediately begin to familiarize himself with the police officers under his command and also begin to introduce himself to Tobagonians. And the Tobago House of Assembly Culture Division says it's been assured safety and security are being placed high on the agenda going into the build-up to Carnival on the Sister Isle in October. Secretary for Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, Tasha Burris, says the commitment has already been given by senior personnel of the police service. Security also outlined, Burris also outlined some of the efforts taken by the THA to address crime on the island, in addition to what is being done by central government for Tobago. That was the update to 8 o'clock. Look out for news in full at 12 noon.
There is a connection between government policy and law in the sense that all laws start as some type of government policy. So, for example, in Trinidad and Tobago, we would have had the recent national policy on persons with disabilities. And that policy talks in very strong terms about the need to both enact laws to provide for the human rights of persons with disabilities. It also talks about the need to amend laws that we have on our statute books right now that discriminate against persons with disabilities. So once that policy is adopted and approved by the cabinet, then the process of making it a law can begin. The difficulty with the policy remaining as a policy, two things. One, it's not enforceable. So it does not really give you any rights legally because it's just a policy, it's not a law. And the other thing is that policies can change over time. Policies can change over time as the needs of the government or the focus of the government itself changes. It can change if the government itself changes. So that it's not enough for us to say, well, we have a policy. We have to take that further step to make the policy a law, because that is what will give full protection for the human rights of persons with disabilities.
Like that hat. I want to get one like that.
Anti-bad mind. Christmas list. Christopher Hughes, good morning and welcome once again to the Paul Breakfast Show. Of course, you've seen the guys, Paul, Wendell, Richard. I'm the rose among the thorns.
Yes, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Mr. Hughes. How are you this morning?
So far, so good.
Where are you this morning?
I went to Tobago for 48 hours, but now I'm back in Trinidad.
Oh, you're still in the Republic?
Yes.
Oh,
I thought
we just wanted to get an update.
I thought you went to Toronto.
We wanted to get an update on what happened since we last spoke last week. I know you had a court case the day following, and there was an issue with your passport being not in your possession.
Correct.
So the
following day, I was able to get my passport back. They scheduled. The judge actually wanted to make it so that for the next 365 days, I can remain virtual during the short court appearances, but due to some small details, she said she can only do the next date. So as of January 14th, which is my next hearing regarding the sedition charge, I'm allowed to appear virtually. Then I have to reapply for high court again to request that all of my future hearings are done virtually. I guess
high court,
that's where we sit.
Do you have to be in person for that high court hearing, or will that be?
I can do that virtually. It's just a matter of going through the application process.
And what's the status of your passport?
So everything's fine as of yesterday. So I'm able to travel, and I will be traveling tomorrow.
Are there conditions apart from the bail issue? Any other issues?
No, and I haven't had any bail conditions on this whole trip. The only bail condition was that I personally lodge my passport with the high court. That's my only condition.
And it's back in your possession.
Correct, and that condition will remain. So eventually, when I have to come back, I'll have to go through the process once again.
What about the return of your equipment?
No, that's the reason why I didn't just jump on my first flight. I'm fighting to get equipment back. I don't have the means to be spending $6,000 to $10,000 again and again and again. So my lawyers thought, let's give them 2 days to see if they'll be able to provide equipment back.
And I'm presuming you requested to have your equipment back.
Quite a few times.
Yeah. Is there any progress with regard to that?
No, again, I think it's just the thorn in the side effect. You know, cameras themselves, GoPro cameras, they have no internal memory. There's no hidden storage. You don't even have the capability of storing anything without a memory card. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if you want the files, keep the memory cards, right?
But that's what I was going to ask. I mean, all the DLSR or GoPro cameras now, they have no internal memory. So the evidence that they may be seeking, once you take for processing purposes, you need to take the model, the serial number of the equipment, because all that's part of what I guess they would need for whatever case they're preparing. But the actual evidence that they may be seeking, and take a picture of the device.
But I mean, they've already dropped
the SD card.
The charge has been dropped, right? So what evidence are they seeking?
Which charge? The sedition charge has been dropped?
Money laundering.
Remember, the seizing of this equipment was when he came back for the case pool.
Right. So it's been twice, and I understand the sedition charges. First of all, I don't understand. It's been 3 months now. They've had plenty of time to make copies of whatever was required from them. But I mean, regarding this newer money laundering charge, they took, again, almost $10,000 in equipment. That charge was dropped, but no, I haven't regained access to all the items that they've taken.
So it's two sets of equipment they took from you?
Yes.
The first one with the sedition charge, and then the second one with the money laundering charge. But if the money laundering charge has been dropped, what have they told you regarding the equipment related to that?
Yeah, I get different answers from different people. But the bottom line is I don't have access to the equipment. Some of them, 2 Fridays ago, I heard, yes, I'll get it Friday. Then I heard Monday, then possibly Tuesday. Then we have no idea, Mr. Hughes. And now nobody will give me a straightforward answer.
Who is the person? Who are the people who are communicating this to you, Mr. Hughes?
Well, the detectives that were the ones interrogating me. Secondly, I went to the physical location, the anti-gang unit, to see if that would help. But I mean, the response over and over again is no. So we've put in a written demand, more than one, but we did one with more urgency, saying I'm about to leave the country for at least the next year. I would appreciate my stuff back. But as of right now, there's been no response.
And what of the deportation issue, the undesirable person issue? What can you give us a status update on that? Are you still on the books for deportation or any of these issues?
No. So the exact terminology I don't recall, but I mean there's sort of like ground rules. The deportation was off the table, but every 10 days that I remain in the country, and I'm able to remain up to whatever the given, I think it's 6 months on my passport, I'm allowed to stay. So as long as I do stay, I would have to check in every 10 days. It's not a court hearing or anything like that. It's just about going to the immigration office and checking in.
Oh, so you are able to leave Last time we spoke, you said you do not want to be here, so you're going to be out of here.
Yes.
Is it? Can you give us a time, a date?
Tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. I'm leaving.
Tomorrow.
Whether or not you get your equipment, you're leaving tomorrow.
Yeah, I need to get back to my family.
Has there been any communication from the Canadian embassy?
No, not with me directly. No. Well, again, since our last call, no. Like since I've spoken to you gentlemen last, no.
Mm-hmm. So your next case, your next court appearance on the sedition charge is January next year.
That's correct. Yes.
Which you can appear virtually on.
Yes. It's just like hopefully it's a collecting of disclosure evidence against me. So I mean those are very brief hearings, but that would be the next one, January 14th.
And you have an attorney representing you in that particular matter?
As of right this second, I don't. I've been the last two appearances. I've appeared myself.
Oh, okay.
So you have any attorneys representing you? Because there's nothing else that you need attorneys for.
Here's the very human response. I've had many senior counsels raise their hand and say they want to help me. I am not confident, and this is no disrespect to anybody in particular, as to what their motives are. So before I decide on, I don't want to keep hiring and firing lawyers. It's not helpful for anyone. As of this time, there's no need for a lawyer. Actually, I'm learning a lot, and I'm having. It's almost like I'm back in school. I'm learning about the process, and I'm enjoying to learn about the process. Now, if this ever goes to trial, I am confident I will have a lawyer that's going to be assisting me in my defense. Yes, but right now, no.
Yeah. Are you suspicious then, because of what you just said, that there are a lot of senior counsels raising their hand to represent you? Are you apprehensive because you may feel that they might want to make a political issue out of it? Is that the reason why you're apprehensive?
That could be something to do with it, but more so it's.
Are they doing it pro bono or no?
Yes, the people that have offered have offered pro bono, but it's almost like the used car salesman approach. It's like, let me show you this beautiful shiny car, but once you buy it, a wheel's falling off, and it doesn't sound quite as sweet as it did when you first looked at it.
I love that, Anna.
This is going to take some time, right? And I know that I'm not in a rush. And again, like I don't want to say I'm enjoying it, like I'm enjoying it, but I like to learn, and I'm learning the whole process. And I still have a team of very smart individuals around me, not only in this country. So, I mean, we brainstorm every day or two. So it's not like I'm going into the conversations blind. I do have help, but I have no legal counsel at the moment for the sedition charge.
Have you done any recording since being?
Yes. It's become difficult because, Trinidad is not like Toronto. I can't just go to the corner store and find the equipment that I'm accustomed to. I think I've uploaded 2 or 3 videos, and I've filmed a couple more. It's just a matter of getting them up.
Very interesting. Have you been able? Is there an option for you to use an attorney that may not be from Trinidad and Tobago, but who has the ability to practice here from outside of this jurisdiction?
Yeah, I don't know the law pertaining to that, but I mean, I've had people volunteer from around the Caribbean and in Canada. Which I think is great. Again, I just need to look into somebody more. I got to find out more as to what their motive is. If their motive is genuinely to help and fight for my human rights, then of course I would be stupid not to take somebody on. But if their agenda is to push some sort of political movement or to gain popularity for themselves, then I don't look at their pro bono work as being a gift to me. It's more like a gift to themselves. So it's not my lack of appreciation. It's just I need to put more thought into it before I make that decision.
What prompted this mindset? Because you repeated that now. When you asked about it, when you used the analogy of a used car salesman earlier on.
Yeah.
Now you seem to be questioning the motives of people volunteering their services to you.
Yeah. I think like through CJ Williams being my first, I guess, official lawyer while detained. And I love the gentleman. He's the kindest, smartest man in the world. To the Canadian Embassy recommending that I get rid of him because he's not senior. So being on record as firing my lawyer before my first appearance, and then moving on to Pamela Elder, and her junior counsel, and then firing them due to, let's say, discrepancies in pricing. I don't want to continue on with that. I don't think it looks good. So just more thought has to, before I sign my name to a lawyer, I want to make sure there's more thought put into it.
Are there attorneys trying to help you get back your equipment? Are there attorneys involved in that?
Well, I've been doing it myself. There have been lawyers that have tried to help me as well. Me getting permission to leave with immigration, it's a document that I filed myself to the chief of immigration, and I got accepted myself. So I'm pretty confident. I'm not the smartest man, but I have smart people around me, and with a little bit of pointing and direction, I'm pretty confident with the equipment. I'm doing the same process that a lawyer would do. I just think I'm doing it a little quicker.
Mr. Hughes, did you just say
we send a pre-action protocol letter to the to the state?
Yeah. Mr. Hughes, did you just say that the Canadian embassy advised you to get rid of Christian Williams because he was not senior enough?
Yes.
How did that take place? How did that come about?
Well, just a simple recommendation that this, prior to being charged for sedition, I don't even know what the word meant. I've never heard it. I've never used it before. Didn't realize, the consequences of being found guilty of sedition. And it all happened so fast. So after 7 days or 6.5 days in jail, when I got my first opportunity at bail, forgive me, the dog's in the back, it came to me about 5 minutes before court where they just simply said, like, we suggest a senior lawyer based on, the time that you're facing in jail. And I took
is it that you would have reached out to the Canadian embassy then, or they intervened on their own?
Well, intervene sounds like they're disruptive. No, they were, I don't want to say they're a participant, but they were an observer. They're physically there every day. Almost every day I was in holding. Okay. So they would pass by and bring treats and talk and just get me out of the cell, which was very helpful when you're locked in a cell 24 hours a day. Getting out for 30 minutes, I'm grateful, but I mean, nothing more than that.
All right. So Christian has not been a part of the process since?
No, he's been a friend and a support. I'm at his house right now. I can't speak more highly about the man, but no, he has not been part of the process.
What's next for Mr. Hughes?
I have a team of people that are participating. So we're researching, we're trying to find everything we can find in order to get my case thrown out before trial. Even very recently, 2 days ago, we found that only a year ago in the Caribbean, there was a public health approach to crime that included the current prime minister. He was a participant, and there's so many articles about it online where they've come up with a structured approach. It was a 4-step approach. And step 1 is to actually go into these communities with almost like a survey and ask individuals, what is it going to take to bring peace to the community? And if you read the articles on it, they say, be prepared that you're not going to like some of the answers from these people in the community, but the first step in solving any problem involving crime has to be on the ground level. Okay, and this is something very big all across the Caribbean, but Trinidad and Tobago was also a participant. So I mean, just showing that the government has put money into what so-and-so could call a professionals. Who is it? University students? Who is it? Volunteers or paid workers to walk into communities and ask, how can we bring peace to the community? That is like award-winning ideas where people get trophies and stuff. But if I go through a community and I say, how do we bring peace to the community? No doubt there's going to be some answers that are not liked. I'm not responsible for the people answering, but it just shows that I have the same mindset. The first step in solving the crime problem is asking the people in the community that are most affected or the ones actually doing the crime. So this is something we just found only a year ago. It's happened. It's all over. You can search it, and they're rewarded. And my reward is a sedition. So my group of people are nonstop on the ball to ensure that I get a fair trial and this case is thrown out as soon as possible so I can continue on with my life.
Now, last time we interviewed you, Mr. Hughes, you would have held up the newspaper and showed the front page concerning a crime that was committed. Today, on today's front page, there was a crime committed yesterday against a sitting government minister.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on what happened yesterday?
Yeah, look, I'm never gonna make fun of a crime. Crime is disgusting. It has to be gone. But why does it take a minister to get robbed for him to show how passionate he is about crime? I've seen his social media posts. Where was that passion? Where was that cry for help over the last 12 months or therefore before? Why is it as humans we only care when we are affected, right? So am I sorry the man got robbed? Of course. Nobody wants to get robbed. Nobody wants that feeling of their hard-earned possessions taken away. Could have been something sentimental to him. But maybe that is sort of the kick in the backside that he required to realize like crime is a problem. Everyday folks have to deal with it every day. You know, I met an older man walking down the street a couple days ago. I didn't have a camera. He had 3 golf balls and he like engineered this thing with shoestrings where the golf ball sort of dangled from the shoestrings. He had a screw through the golf ball. And I knew what it was right away. I'm like, this is some sort of self-defense. The man looked about 80 years old. I said, please sit down with me. I'll buy you a beer. Tell me what's going on. He fears walking down the street. So he's created this thing that it's almost like, I don't know if you know what brass knuckles are. It's like where the balls are on this side and you can sort of swing it. And although my grandparents have passed away, I looked at this man as like this elderly man that feels he's not even safe walking down the street during the daytime without carrying a weapon. I asked him, has anything happened to you? He said, no, I use this as a deterrent so people know that at least I'm going to fight. And is there anything really sadder than this? So hopefully the minister opens his eyes and realizes there is a problem and hopefully something is done about it. Not just.
So you mentioned that the minister would have responded and you think that it's only when it happened to him.
Of course.
That he made a statement. The minister has made statements because he's the member of parliament for St. Joseph on many occasions that I've heard about crime and about situations in the constituency. So that's not an accurate statement.
So I'm saying he's a lot more passionate now. I've watched his social media. He's posted a lot of very personal messages because the crime was committed against him. So he's passionate about it.
You mean since then?
Are you saying he wasn't passionate before?
I don't know the man. I don't know enough about him. But there is no doubt the attention is being brought for one reason. He's the minister. I've never heard of the minister before yesterday. It's front page news, you're saying. Everybody's talking about it, include the household that I'm in, right?
But that doesn't mean he hasn't made statements on crime before, though.
No, I'm not. I'm saying he's more passionate now because it's him affected. I don't know enough about his resume.
It's a personal situation. Have you ever been in contact since you're here with any minister, government official besides your incursion with the criminal justice system?
No.
So no minister has ever spoken to you?
No.
What do you think you've accomplished since landing in Trinidad and Tobago?
Like me, myself, personally?
Yeah.
Very little. I mean, if you look at the whole outlook of what's going on, very little. Eventually, very soon, people will forget about me. I didn't come in with an agenda to accomplish anything. I just film what I see. I document what I see. It's up to smarter people to figure out what to do with that. But it's happened to me before where smarter people have taken my content and done something with it and made a positive impact on communities, whether it be homelessness or drugs or crime.
So don't you think you've been able to, at some level, because this is what some people are saying, that you were able to do what some state machinery had not been able to do and go into some communities where and interview young men who have admitted they're involved in crime?
Yes.
Isn't that shining some sort of light on the situation in a country that can be considered productive at some level?
I don't know. I'm not like, are the numbers going down? Or the crime or the murders going down? No. So, I mean, it depends on how we're going to gauge what productive is. Right? We'll never be able to know the exact impact of one video.
Well, let's ask you a poll question this morning then. Because we asked this morning, do you think that there'll be a greater effort in crime fighting due to the robbery of Minister Terence Yalsing? What are your thoughts?
I think police force will come out with a vengeance for a couple days just to show that there's an interest in the topic. And by this time next week, everything will be forgotten.
So true. So true.
No different than what happened with me. You know, when I was arrested for sedition, very well planned out, plotted. They went to the areas that I went. Mind you, before I went there with my camera, there's cameras everywhere. There's surveillance cameras in every one of these neighborhoods. They know who has guns. They can follow social media. I was not the first one to show guns in Trinidad, right? I'm the first outsider, maybe, like as an individual that came. Vice did a documentary where there was 10 million plus views, but they're looked at as a media house. I'm not. I'm looked at it as I'm a crazy YouTuber, right? National Geographic, you know, that wonderful yellow magazine that used to be all about Mother Nature. I don't know if you know, one of their best produced programs are all about gangs, the worst gangs around the world. They get awards for this type of stuff. You see, but the government, what they did is they went into the neighborhoods to make it look bad for me so that people would not talk to me moving forward. But they actually did quite the opposite, because people respect me in any community, and my sort of, I can go anywhere. I still
What do
can
you mean by that? The government went into the neighborhoods to make it look bad?
Well, like Movant, Second Caledonia, there was guns being shown in the video. So the next day, the title or the topic of the newspaper was 24 arrested because they were seen on video with guns. And if you watch my video about Movant and Second Caledonia, I actually peer up with my camera, and there's cameras everywhere. So if those cameras are functioning cameras, they were well aware of the situation in Second Caledonia. The number of murders and shootings, I saw them this week, there was shootings. They didn't need me to acknowledge there's a problem there, but they utilized my platform to make me look bad and say, okay, now we're targeting them immediately, and we make sure that the media is going to cover it. So no different now. They need to save face, and they need to go in there and stand up for the minister, as though they should. But we don't want them to forget about the crime problem when this small problem is solved, right? That's not helping anyone.
All right. Thank you for being with us this morning. We appreciate the update.
No
problem. And safe travels back home tomorrow.
Yes.
Well, are you at all willing to take some calls, Mr. Hughes?
Yes, most definitely.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So we can do that. 222-8255. That's 222-8255. North Americans, US and Canada, 866-525-1099. All right. That's our numbers directly into our studio.
Have you done an interview thus far where you made yourself available to calls or from the public?
You know, I've been on the media quite a bit in my 3 years of YouTube. So yes, I'm sure I have. Yes.
All right.
Has the Canadian media picked up your story, like 680 News or so on? CFRP?
No.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Mr. Hughes.
Yes, good morning.
I just have one suggestion for you.
Yes.
I don't know why Richard didn't do it, because I know I sense it on his mind. But my suggestion for you would be to get a lawyer to write an official pre-action protocol letter to the Commissioner of Police, and by the extension, the police service. I think that will have an immediate result. I have seen it in practice in Trinidad and Tobago already. Nothing is more effective than a lawyer letter, not something you could do or whatever. Nothing is more effective than a lawyer letter, especially a pre-action protocol letter. You're going to get back your stuff within 24 hours after the lawyer gets involved.
So I'm sorry to interrupt you. I appreciate the feedback, but it's been done. That's been done. Like my arrest was 2 weeks ago. We did that the following day with a lawyer. So, I mean, the reason I'm stepping in and doing it myself now is because nothing else has worked. There hasn't been even a response to our request when it's in email format.
It just seems like vindictiveness. If the charges against you have been dropped for the money laundering, your equipment should be returned immediately. The first set for sedition, and you're absolutely right. Even the sedition charges, the flash drivers, the memory cards could have been taken, and the devices could have been returned. It just seems like pure wickedness from the TTPS.
Well, I believe the motive is just to silence me. And I've told them, you know, if somebody would have asked me, Chris, just don't record, I would have stopped recording. Like, I'm not stubborn, but to continually go through this where I have to keep buying new equipment, none of it makes sense to me.
But all they're going to succeed in doing is making you more famous, more successful, and people are going to donate stuff to you now. All they're going to do is make you bigger.
I agree.
Making you bigger. Have a good day, Mr. Hughes. Safe flight back, and thank you, gentlemen, for allowing me this contribution.
All right, no problem. Good morning, call. Oops, I had a lot of calls coming through here just now. Here we go. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
I always say I love the platform because this is Rob, by the way. I love the platform because it brings education to people. Mr. Chris, I really thought, honestly, before listening to the program today, you was doing it for likes and clicks and shares and so on because, you know, that's how YouTubers make their money, correct? But now after listening to what you're saying, you actually bring up some valid points about Trinidad, inefficiencies in the security services, one of which is a very, very pertinent point you just said, is that they have cameras in these places already. And the cameras, they're supposed to be working. So what you are showing and putting out there for the world to see, which is much different, as you said, as from a media house like Vice and National Geographic. You're a person that's now in the trend, that people don't really watch Vice and younger people don't really watch Vice and or National Geographic as it was before. The followers that you have that they're showing out to the world is not the side of Trinidad and Tobago they want people to see. Because they have, I've been watching, I see Mark Weens, some other of the YouTubers, they bring here to show the positive side of Trinidad and Tobago. And what you're really doing is showing the negative. But
you know what, can I interject very quickly? You know, Mark Weens was paid by the Tourism Board of Trinidad and Tobago to come here and film.
He says it plain as day on his videos.
Right.
He was brought here by the Visit TT. He was
paid big bucks to do it.
And he's paid a lot of money to come to Trinidad. Everything he did here in Trinidad was sponsored, which is why I'm saying it's a good thing I listened to your video, your interview this morning, because I honestly was of the fact that you're just doing this for clicks because people like Bacchanal. And what you showing is Bacchanal. But the thing that changed my mind to it was you said in these areas that you go to, there are police cameras, there are street poles with cameras, there are cameras there already. And if they were working, they already knew what you showed. The difference between the two is that it is not a secret anymore. So now they cannot say, well, we didn't know.
Thank you, Rob.
Yes, you know, if you gentlemen don't mind, because it's a question I get quite often about doing this for views and money. I've never done this on camera here before, but what I've done is I'm opening up my dashboard on YouTube, right? I'm going to show you, this is over the last 30 days. Let's see if we can see this. This is my earnings in Canadian dollars. Okay, over the last 30 days, $5,000. So I don't know what that's equivalent to, maybe 3,500 US. My expenses to be here are over $10,000. I've given up, like, without me sounding like an arrogant jerk, you know, I've been successful my whole life. Me doing YouTube is a downgrade. Okay, I'm not doing this for money. If I was doing this for money, I wouldn't be doing YouTube. Now, there are big people that have 100 million views that are doing quite well for themselves, but my kind of content doesn't get that. So there isn't a month that goes by that I'm on YouTube that I'm not losing money. Lucky I've been successful for the rest of my life prior to YouTube, and I have some savings that I'm blowing through very quickly. So for those that think I'm here to make an earning off the problems of Trinidad and Tobago, it's just so far-fetched. It's so delusional. Like this is not a screenshot that I created. Like this is me in my studio today, clicking and showing what my earnings are. This is not profitable.
But
right?
Mr. Hughes, I think I should let you know, though, but because you do have a following. Because whilst I thought that Paul and Richard and Steve were handsome, and I was the handsomest of all, your program with us got the most views thus far of all our programs. So it has to be something with you.
No, there's no doubt, but there's no doubt that people watch the content, but it's not profitable, right? My reason for doing it has never been money. You know, how much money would you have to pay me to go to war? I'm going to war because I don't want to say I enjoy war, but I enjoy the documentation of history and things that are happening. So I'm not doing this for money. And there's a percentage of people in Trinidad and around the world that say Chris comes here to exploit and make all this money. I spend a lot more money than I make. And this is my whole earnings for YouTube for the month.
All right, let's grab this call. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning to Mr. Chris.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
I sympathize with your position, and I hope that everything goes well. But I want to raise something here.
Yeah.
One of the things is that Mr. When you mentioned that Mr. Dialsingh was more passionate, it is only human nature that when you're being directly affected, that you respond in a different way. And that is only nature. So it's not that he didn't. I don't know if that was what he was saying, but it's not that he didn't care or he cared more now that it happened. But it's only human nature that when something happened to you, because when my children, I used to see people falling down and crying and all kind of when the children died, and I used to think, well, why they getting on like that? And when my son and my daughter died, I realized what it was. You have to have real heart to stand for it. And the next thing is, the cameras that we are saying that is installed, those fellas will not do what they do with you in front of those cameras. They select certain times and you see them on social media displaying guns and all that kind of thing. And what has happened in your case, Mr. Chris, they get an opportunity to display. They get an opportunity to display under and to feel protected under you because of the work you're doing. Now I ain't saying that you're doing anything bad or anything like that, but I'm telling you the mindset of it is that they're being exposed and they're actually flaunting. If you look at it, so it's not that you would have brought out anything or think that they would know, because of what you mean in Trinidad here, no media person or police cannot go in there to do that. There was a guy they call Wayne Chan.
Make it quick, Cole. I have a lot of calls coming through.
Yes, there was a guy they called Wayne Chan who went in St. Paul Street, and he was from prison. And when he went there to do what you know what they told him? The luckiest thing, otherwise your head would have been rolling back down the hill.
But respectfully, that's your opinion, right? That's not factual, because there are plenty of people in jail right now that show their guns in front of those cameras. We hear about it every day. I read the newspaper inside and out every day. People are caught shooting. Most crimes are committed on camera, period. So it's not factual that they don't walk around the community, because they do. People are arrested by it. So I'm not the first one to show guns in these communities.
No, you are not the
All right, thank you, caller.
Opportunity. They get an opportunity when somebody like you go to do that. That is what I'm saying.
Thank you. All right, let's keep it short. We have a lot of calls coming through. Good morning, caller.
Hey, morning,
Mr. Patrick. Go ahead.
Well, Richard is
morning, Mr. Patrick.
Good morning.
It's strange enough to see as a foreigner from a different country come to Trinidad, get yourself involved in some kind of legal battles, and your country, you have nobody to represent it and back you up. You find that strange, brother?
You think that if that was also Mr. Patrick?
I mean,
Mr. Patrick, answer me something. Mr. Patrick, answer me something. If you were in New York and you were in trouble like that, because you went filming where you weren't supposed to film, and let's say the New York authorities arrested you, the Trinidad and Tobago embassy would have come to your assistance?
I believe so.
Good luck, Mr. Patrick. Bless you.
I believe when people from Trinidad was in another country, the footballer, and we Trinidad and Tobago government assist the man to come home. I know we
That's different, Mr. Patrick.
Not with legal troubles.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Mr. Patrick.
So what I say, Mr. Hughes is a troublemaker.
Nobody ever.
Legal
That's your words.
troubles. You're not listening.
Legal troubles, Mr. Patrick. If you driving cross country across the United States and police pull you over and give you a ticket for speeding, you think you could get the embassy to intervene? No, pay a ticket.
Exactly. Good morning.
Like, who's this?
Good morning, our listener from Los Angeles. How are you?
I'm doing very pretty good, Steve. Good morning to Wendell. Good morning,
Morning, sir. Morning, LA.
So what's Mr. Paul Richard, good morning. And good morning. Mr. Paul Richard, I would like to advocate for Wendell to be on the program 5 days a week. That's a suggestion.
I'm going up with that dashboard like Mr. Hughes with that small money.
Go ahead.
Mr. Hughes, good morning, sir.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Glad to hear you okay. Everything is well. You get a passport, everything. Mr. Hughes, I don't make political statements. These guys know me. I call this program all the time. I don't make political statements. But I just hope that when all is said and done, you see this kind of victimization you're going through with this. That's sometimes they say Trinidad is not a real place. People is vexed when they say that. And they see what is going through. I hope when it's all is said and done, and you sue the state, and that they pay money. You see the people who make these decisions to make these calls. I hope them have to pay and not the taxpayers of this country have to pay. You see this kind of crazy thing. I want to apologize on behalf of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago for the stuff you're going through. I mean, it's so unfair, bro. I mean, what about I live in abroad? So how would I feel if I go to another country and they treat me? I don't, you know what I mean? If they charge you, they drop the charges, give you back your equipment and something. I don't understand that at all. I just hope, I said one more time, I just hope that the people who make these decisions to victimize you and do these things, they have to pay with it. When it's to them, they have to pay the lawsuits. Good day, guys, and have a good day.
Yeah, thanks, LA. We know that
It's not going to happen.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to the Powell family.
Morning.
The guys can hear me.
Yep, in Orlando.
Club and the Powell family. You know what Mr. Patrick was saying is actually true, because at the end of the day, it comes to general office out here, and that handles the U.S. coast and everything like that, up the coastline, up to the northeast and the northwest coastline. You could go to them, and they do stand up for you no matter what the situation is at hand. I find it very strange also too that the Canadian government is like numb. They're not really reacting to the situation at hand. But what Mr. Patrick did say, you see this Consul General that we have here in New York City, he's out there and he's batting for you 1,000,000%. And no matter, he's handling the whole East Coast from Florida all the way up to what you call it, Vermont. All right? You guys stay safe.
Yeah, thanks. But you know, strange enough, in our first interview with Mr. Hughes, he did say that if he was a U.S. citizen, that the reaction would have been different. You did say that, didn't you?
Yeah. Those are my thoughts. I will never really know, right? But those were my thoughts.
Yes. Yeah.
Good morning.
Morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Hughes, listen attentively to what you're saying. I just want to ask a question. Prior to arriving in Trinidad and Tobago, what knowledge did you have of this twin island, and what motivated you to actually come here and do these videos when you had options of other places? So, if it is up, you can answer me those questions.
Yeah, for sure. Trinidad is my country 128. So I chose to go to 127 countries, some of them multiple times before I chose to come to Trinidad. Nothing brought me here other than the fact that I'm trying to see every country in the world. So I didn't come for gangs. When I come to a new country, the first 2 or 3 days is sort of like my research. I call it walk and talk. I just hit the ground and walk for hours and hours and hours and talk to people and just try to come up with a long list of stories I'd like to film. So my first day in Trinidad, you can find it on my YouTube channel. And I walk around Chinatown and I find myself at Duncan Street and Nelson. And some children brought me into the neighborhood where I spoke to, we'll call them people of the community. And that's when the topic came up of like Rasta versus Muslim. I had no prior knowledge, even the numbers gangs, I had no previous knowledge at all. but nothing in particular brought me here. I was well aware of the crime statistics before I came to Trinidad, but that's not the reason I came.
All right, let's take our final call. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
I want Wendell to retract something he said earlier. This is all that you have to show to get views. Wendell, I'm sorry for all your station. So retract what you said.
No.
What?
No. Yeah, the interview Mr. Hughes.
I didn't catch it. I'm sorry. I don't understand what happened.
Is the immediacy of your no Wendell.
Mr. Hughes, in addition, well, the crime thing is one thing, but you also said it's a beautiful country, which of course we all agree with because it's our country.
Yes.
What do you think people need to see more of that would have warmed your heart upon coming to this country? What are you impressed by?
If we took somebody to go on YouTube today and just typed in Trinidad and Tobago and counted the number of videos that are uploaded, I would say 99% plus of the videos ever uploaded from this country have nothing to do with gangs or guns. Okay, the biggest culprit of uploading the criminality side of the country would be the news, right? Because companies, media need to put out what's going on. The average vlogger is putting out the food, the tradition, the carnival, the fun time at the beach, and etc. It's just that people remember, like my videos. I've uploaded 35 videos. I think 8 of them were like no-go zones. What about the other ones that I uploaded? What I would say is, if I was in control of the tourism board in Trinidad and Tobago, which I'm not, if I want to sort of decide what kind of content is being uploaded, make the investment. Like the caller called and said, Mark Weens. Mark Weens is a very big YouTuber. He's taken 18 years to get to where he's at, millions and millions of followers. Make the investment. Pay people that you feel will show the good light of your country. So
what videos that you have uploaded that shows the good side of Trinidad and Tobago?
I believe every video shows some good aspects. Well, 2 days ago I uploaded the Bubble Hill, the Rasta camp, which might not be good for tourism, but for locals, they were unaware that there's a community of 250 people living at the top of the mountain.
And have you uploaded that kind of stuff before?
Yes, always.
Okay.
People look at me as a controversial, but I mean, if we were just to go through my list of videos here, I think you'd be surprised. I did a whole big piece. I went to the 3 biggest steel pan yards. It's my least viewed video. Took me the longest to film, where I spent hours and hours with them. I did the piece.
I would imagine All Stars was one of those.
All Stars was one of them.
You just came back from Tobago. What did you like about Tobago? What you loved about Tobago? What stood up?
I didn't do much. I didn't have a camera. I used somebody else's camera for a day, but I enjoyed laying down and just relaxing, taking a break from everything.
Mental relief.
Yes.
All right. Chris Hughes, I want to thank you so much for being with us on the Paul Breakfast Show.